Hi, everyone. Welcome. This is DJ Honeyflow for the Honeyflow Talk Show. Hope you guys are doing well. And welcome YouTube and Facebook as well. And of course, Twitch. We're all here at twitch.tv/DJ Honeyflow. So make sure you guys come to Twitch. It's completely free, it's a streaming platform as well. But if you want to sit on Facebook and YouTube, no problem. You could do that as well. So we got a really great guest that's been blowing up as well. She was nominated for the best newcomer of 2022 for the Twitch Awards here. And she's doing really big things and great things. You know, her chat room's always packed. She's always very welcoming when everyone comes into her room. And and she plays really dope music. So we're going to really hear, about her musical journey as well. We're going to see, I thought I heard she was a singer as well. So I'm going to ask her about that too. And she's from North Carolina. So make sure you guys welcome DJ Mollyparti from North Carolina. And let's bring her in as well. Hey, how you doing?
Hey, I'm doing great. How are you?
Good. Thanks for joining me too. I appreciate it.
Thank you for having me. I'm so excited to be here.
Yeah, and excited to definitely finally get a chance to interview this celebrity, you guys, because she really is. Are you originally from North Carolina too?
No, I am from St. Croix in the United States Virgin Islands.
Oh,
I was born and raised there, and I moved to North Carolina in 1990. So I've definitely been here my entire adult life, part of my childhood, but from the beach first and then the mountains.
oh, nice. So, what could you say, like, for people that don't know across the world what North Carolina offers? What could you say to people? What's it like in North Carolina?
Well, North Carolina is a really long state. I think it's probably one of the only states that has the mountain ranges that we have and also the beach. So it goes all the way from almost Tennessee into the coast. So it's funny because sometimes people will say, I'm in Raleigh, and I'm like, that's 6 hours away. Like, I'm not coming to see you. So we have got the Blue Ridge Mountains here, which is one of the oldest mountain ranges in the United States, if not the world. We've got the Blue Ridge Parkway. We have a lot of different kinds of industry. We have some tech, which is closer to Charlotte. We have a lot of music industry, and we also have some incredible architecture here. The Biltmore Estate, which is, I think, America's largest private residence, which was actually the last project that architect worked on before he died.
Oh, wow. Okay, interesting. You guys have amazing museums. I remember that. I can't remember where I was in North Carolina. Actually, I should remember this. And South Carolina, but I remember the museums like beating out DC and just the history, right? Like civil rights and just so many things that I've never seen like here before in Canada. I was like, wow. Like, yeah, I wish I remembered that museum.
We have a lot of museums. Oh, Zoe's about to start barking. Oh, Zoe. Oh, there she is. Hold on. Let me move myself. I'm
Okay, no
so
problem. How you doing, Fukuna? How you doing? Good to see you. Um, oh, Fukuna asked, "Did you bring the boss or Barry White?" Is that an inside joke?
The boss is barking in the window right
Oh,
now. Her
okay.
birthday was yesterday and she is feeling herself. And Barry White, we also have a lot of bears in North Carolina, especially in the mountains since we're so close to the forest. And so I saw one yesterday
Oh,
across
wow.
the street, and I live like close to downtown. Miss JUK is here. Good evening, Queen. So Barry White is like the treehouse entrepreneur,
No.
because we have a lot of bears,
Wow.
and there are a lot of bear videos. So we have one specifically that walked up on a DJ when he was streaming in
What?
Asheville, like right as the pandemic had started.
Yeah,
So,
that's insane.
yeah, it's insane.
Wow. What would you do? Would you like make a lot of noise? I heard with bears, like you would make a lot of noise.
Yeah, you make a lot of noise, and you like I mean, they're a very social animal. Oh, DJ Detroit is here, my family. So they are social animals and they are not aggressive. They're black bears. So they won't come after you unless you threaten them or you get in the way of them, a mom and a cub. So I always look around to see, is the bear by itself, and then I make a lot of noise, and then I turn around and I go the other way. I'm like,
Yeah.
"Yo, I'm so sorry. I got too close." Um, and I always try to, give them a respectful wild animal amount of space.
Oh wow. Yeah, Miss JUK, how you doing? She says after watching Cocaine Bear, I now know what to do.
Right?
DJ
Definitely don't give it cocaine.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Okay, I gotta watch so that what? There was a video with that?
It's a movie. I
Oh,
haven't seen it
I
yet,
gotta check it out.
but it is based on a true story, and the bear does get addicted to cocaine and starts, like, coming back for it. Um,
Oh, that's
yeah.
crazy. Wow.
Yeah.
We got Passports fan in the Passports, yeah, fan in the building. How you doing? Good to see you. Miss JUK, DJ Detroit. Who else we have here? We got Fukuna. I call him Fukuna now. Instead of
We're just
Fuka.
renaming him all over Twitch.
Yeah, I'm pretty much renaming him for sure. Let's see. Oh, you saw it on a flight last year. Crazy film. Ooh, I'm gonna have to check that out, Miss JUK. Wow, crazy. And a DJ was streaming. Hey, we got Sonia in the building. Good to see you as well. Yeah, TMT fan definitely in the building. Oh, Miss JUK says I didn't realize it was based on a true story. Yeah, I'm gonna have to definitely check that out.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I haven't seen it yet either. I kind of sometimes I get a little freaked out. Like, I watched Jaws when I was a small child, of course, and like living up in the Virgin Islands growing up and then watching Jaws, it like terrified me, and we were at the ocean all the time. So I'm always kind of like, is that gonna do good or is it gonna just scare me for the rest of my life?
Yeah, for sure. Have you
I'm
gone
very
back to the
sensitive.
have you gone back to the Virgin Islands too?
I have. My dad still lives there.
Oh, nice.
I do not go back nearly enough. I think the last time I went back was 2016. I was on schedule. There's my trouble twin, Sonia Faciel. Um, but 2020 was my year to do some traveling, and we know what happened with that. So I haven't been able to go back to visit him, but hopefully this year or next year.
Yeah, for sure. Do people ever think you're like kind of like a hippie type kind of, or yoga, or like I don't even know how to say it. You love animals and trees and that sort of thing. Like do people definitely, think that of you? And what do you say to that too when people kind of look at you or see you, perceive you? What would you say? Would you say that's true or not really?
I mean, of course, I'm in Asheville. Like, people think I'm woo, like people think everybody in Asheville is real woo. But and listen, it got that reputation, honestly. And I make fun of Asheville all the time. There's actually like a famous Instagram account of a girl that lives in Asheville, and like every stereotypical video she makes, I'm like, man, she nailed it though. Like, it's ridiculous. I don't consider myself very Asheville. I do love the outdoors, and I like to
Mhm.
road bike. I love the nature that's close by. But I'm kind of I would consider myself a very spiritual person, but I'm very, like, I got my feet on the ground. Like, I
Mhm.
definitely am not, I like to cut my spirituality with a good dose of reality. And so,
Mhm.
like, I'm not gonna be renaming myself Breeze or Mariah or anything, like, too hippified.
I
Um,
don't even know what any of that is. I'm gonna have
yeah,
to Google after. Yeah,
you gotta
but I
come
love
visit.
that. No, but I love that about you. That's what I mean. So that's why I guess I'm like, how do I find the right question to ask this? But I'm wondering if people, because when people look at us, they perceive us in different ways. But I love it though. I feel like that's what makes you unique. Like I kind of feel like you could be kind of like a Cali girl, like someone that loves the West Coast and goes out and
Yes.
goes hiking and
Oh,
nature.
yeah.
You strike
I
me as
love
that
it.
a little bit. Yeah.
I do, I love it, and I especially being in, like, the music industry, I think it's important to have, like, easy access. "Oh, there's KB Browns. You bears have been asking about you, KB Browns." They're always asking about him. Mr. Nate in the house. Look at all the family in here. Um, I think it's important to have, if you have a lifestyle in like the music industry or something that's really busy and can get kind of like hardcore and ratchet. I think it's important to have an outlet close by, like nature or art or museums or whatever your thing is. I think it's important to make sure that you do have it easily accessible to you so that you can kind of like maintain that sanity.
Yeah, no, I agree with you like
You know.
300%. Yeah, yeah, exactly. How you doing, JT? Smooth because he's smooth. Look at
Oh, I
his
like
profile
it.
picture. And Mr. Nate, I think he looks like, does he not look like Joe to you? I always bug him. He looks
Who's
like
Joe?
Joe. Joe, the singer, the R&B singer, Joe.
Oh, Joe, I don't even
He
know.
does
I don't have TV.
I think okay, we gotta send it to you. He just reminds me so much of Joe, and we got KB Brown's in the building.
Perhaps.
Thanks for coming through, you guys. Appreciate you. So where did your musical journey begin? Like, how old were you around? Were you just a young girl, or how did your musical journey actually begin?
I feel like it started in the car with my mom. When I was growing up, my mom sang Sweet Adelines, which is kind of like barbershop for women. And so, oh, there's Clarky.
How you
Um,
doing, Clarky?
so we, you know, St. Croix is only 28 miles long by like 8 miles wide. So you don't really have like road trips. But when we would go to the other end of the island, which seemed like a full day, we would always sing in the car. And so my my family would always say, like you could not carry a tune in a bucket, but man, you would belt it out and you were so like rambunctious about it. And I thought I sounded great personally, but apparently I did not. And so we kind of grew up singing in the car, singing while we were feeding horses and doing our thing. And I always kind of felt musical. I spent a lot of time with our record player, just sitting there singing along or playing records and listening to music. A lot of it was like the Mamas and the Papas or the Sweet Adelines, like concert records. I don't know why she had those, but um, and then I started learning guitar when I was like 10 or 12. I played trombone in marching band. That was super nerdy, but amazing. And so it's kind of woven its way throughout. I was also that nerdy kid that was making mixtapes from the radio, like waiting for the exact time to hit record. Um, and it just kind of grew. It kept spiraling. I kept getting more involved in it until I started eventually singing in a band, singing backup, and then I started my own band, and then I started working in the music industry, and then I started DJing. So like it started with singing, but it's kind of always just kind of been there, like, you know, in me.
You like go to school for music? I know you said you were part of some bands, but did you ever do like college or anything, like anything that was related to music, taking classes?
I've taken a ton of music classes, but I never went to a music school. Like I took piano classes, I took private trombone lessons to try to get. When we moved here, everything was so far ahead of where we were in St. Croix that I was just trying to catch up. I was always too scared to go to a music school because I didn't really have any faith in myself and my talent because I didn't read music very well. I didn't really understand that there were a lot of ways to learn, and I just thought like I'm stupid because I don't know the math, or I'm stupid because I can't read the notes, not knowing that there's like a legit half the population of really amazing musicians don't read. It's hard, it is math. And so I've always been more of an instinctual musician. I always thought that it was because there was something wrong with me. I wish that I had gone to music school, but I was too shy about it, you know?
That's interesting. Interesting. So I know you're doing this now full time. Could I ask what your day job was like, say before, or what it was like over, I don't know, maybe a 10 or 20 year span for you? Because it's always interesting, when people are like, it's interesting because I get this question a lot. Oh, you're just a DJ, right? But then I've interviewed so many people that are doctors, lawyers, whatever it is they do. It doesn't really matter what you do, but it's just very interesting that you would never expect someone like, for example, DJ Dub Kush. I was shocked to know that he fights the largest cases, human rights cases around the world, like as a lawyer. And
Right.
that was shocking to me because he's so crazy on his streams, and so wild, but that's his release, right? So I find it very interesting to see kind of the career paths and how life kind of took different people, like in whatever field you're in. So I was curious about yours.
Yeah, there's Mo One also. Hey,
I
Mo One.
know one.
Um, you know, I did a lot of restaurant and bar jobs until I started working in the music industry, like when I was in my later 20s. And I started on that higher level in the music industry working with a radio-based company. So it was like an independent promoter, and we would work with labels like Ani DeFranco's label and Jack Johnson's label, and we would do like work with a certain format of stations, and we would work for radio airplay. And so I was calling stations trying to get them to play music by G Love and Amy Mann and stuff like that. And then my job shifted into working festivals. And so I did all the radio partnerships for some of the biggest festivals in the country, like Bonnaroo. I did Forecastle in Louisville, Kentucky. I did Hangout Festival. I actually did the Way Home Festival, which was a couple years. It was a country festival. Oh no, it was an indie rock festival in Toronto or near
Oh,
Toronto.
cool.
And
Nice.
that was a while ago, but
Mhm.
I got to work with stations all over the country, with labels all over the country. And so it was a lot of radio. Then I started doing some publicity. And when that ended, I think it was like 2018, um, I I was shifting more into DJing, and I was like, the festival scene is just changing. Live Nation is buying up everything.
Yes,
It's not as
100%.
like fun. There's no personality. There's no like getting to actually connect with the stations in ways that is really creative, that's going to engage their fans. And so I was
Mhm.
like, this is drying up. I went to work part-time at the Bob Moog Foundation, which Bob Moog invented the Mini Moog,
Hmm.
which revolutionized electronic music because people could actually afford to get a synthesizer. And he lived in Asheville for the last several decades of his life. So I I went to work at that nonprofit while I was shifting into more DJing, and then COVID hit.
Yeah, for sure.
So it's always been music, promotion, marketing, social media related, basically like storytelling for brands.
Yeah, wow. So then, like, what you're doing for festivals, were you, like, booking, like, kind of like an events, coordinator or manager or something? Or did you, like, uh, work you said you worked with radio stations too? So,
Yeah.
that sounds like a very interesting job.
It was fascinating. It was fascinating, and I learned a lot. Um, it was more on the like, I didn't really do any booking or anything like that. I would set up partnerships for the radio station. So anytime you would turn on the radio and you would hear a promotion for one of my festivals, like I had sat down with their program director and their promotions director and blocked out like, what timeline are we going to be on, what artists make sense for your format to focus on, and then like, what are you guys going to do like to promote it, how is the contesting going to go, and then what are you going to do on site at the festival, like are you going to try to do a meet and greet with your winners with an artist, are we going to do a flyaway, are we going to
That's
You
a
know,
lot of work.
it's a lot of
It's a
work.
lot of work. Yeah, I understand exactly what you're saying. I'm trying to remember the name when I worked for the urban station out here for a very hot minute. And definitely due to politics, I can relate to you. So I understand what you do. It's a lot. It's a lot of work, like even booking commercials or booking,
Yeah.
say, yeah, you're right, event space or booking the VJ or whoever's on radio to go down to different venues and because I was part of the sales team, the sales side. So
Mm,
and they made us pretty much do everything. So it
yeah.
was, so I definitely get it. Do you ever miss like radio? Like I feel like you have the personality to be on air, like be that on air personality.
I miss working with the people that I worked with that were the on-air personalities, and I got to work with some of the biggest tastemakers in AAA radio in the United States, like people that really shaped the way that the format was. And that was such an incredible honor to be able to see how that they had really all the influence that they had and the way that they had come up through radio. And that's how I met Selecta 720 is I used to pitch because he had a crazy amazing show on one of the AAA stations that I used to
Oh,
work
cool.
with.
Yeah.
And I used to pitch his show for music. And so I try to keep in touch with people. I've been on radio a couple times. I've never had my own show. I did host my own show from Bonnaroo, which
Mhm.
was crazy because we would go in and set the whole station up, and we'd have like 12 stations in this tent in the middle of a field in Tennessee where it's like hot as balls, and like it's you just make this whole compound out of nothing. And it was amazing. Like I loved it. And
Mhm.
I think the power of like terrestrial radio will never go away because it's definitely more powerful than the internet. It doesn't rely on the same kind of technology, and so it cuts through even when the internet goes out and stuff like that. But you know, there's such a connection between people and the human voice,
Mhm.
especially when that human voice lives in the market, somebody talking to people about what's actually happening in their community. And I feel like that's kind of what we do on Twitch. We're all broadcasters now.
Yeah, 100%.
Um, yeah, and so I do believe in that connection at the human voice. Like people need that sometimes.
Yeah, well, you definitely have a voice for radio. Like it's very pleasant. Like when I listen to people, because I mean that's my main background is radio. So when I listen, I'm like, it's like a DJ when a DJ knows, okay, this guy's a great, or girl's a great DJ. Like when I hear voices, I'm like, yeah, like she's got it. She's got the voice.
That's
Yeah.
awesome. Thank you.
Yeah, for sure. But I mean, you're already doing it, like you said. We're already broadcasting. We're doing TV shows, not even just radio. We're pretty much doing everything, right? Did you know
Yes.
about Twitch as well? Before the pandemic, or how did you make your way kind of on here to start a show as well?
I Twitch started out as Justin TV. And when it was Justin TV, I there was a show in New York that I used to pitch when our artists would go to New York because they did like a live TV thing, and it was like really great audience. And so anytime we'd have an artist go through that market, we would pitch it to see if we could get them to do a live session. And so I had known about that, but I never knew when it switched to Twitch. I never knew any of it. I knew that it had changed, but I wasn't really paying attention because outlets change all the time. And I during the pandemic, when the pandemic started, I was like everybody else, trying to just keep my sanity, figure out what was happening. I started sewing masks. So I sewed like 650
Oh,
masks during the
really?
pandemic. I
Wow,
was
that's
doing
cool.
it.
Creative.
Yeah, we started this whole thing that was masks going to first responders and especially health workers in North Carolina. And so I was cranking those out. And then when they stopped the home sewing program, I just started sewing for myself, but I was watching like Questlove on YouTube. And then I realized that Selecta 720 was starting to stream on Facebook. And so I would tune into him all the time because I knew him and I loved his taste in music. And then he moved to Twitch and I was like, what? I don't want to download this other thing. And like, I don't know. I don't understand. But, Facebook was doing its thing. And so I came over to Twitch. I didn't even know how to subscribe. Like, it took me months to figure out what was going on, but I would just like lurk in there. Then I started meeting people, and Twitch really saved me because my job got very toxic. It got super weird. And there would be days when I was just like in my apartment, just being like, just keep going. There are people on the internet that are like, we're all supporting each other through all of this. And so I just developed this strong tie to it, like the trauma bonding that we all did. And then
Mhm.
I found DJ Richie Rich Detroit, and then I started finding other DJs and streamers and friends, and then I was like, okay, I think I want to do something too. But like, like we talked about, I was scared of the technology. I was like, I can't do this.
Mhm. Look how far you've come too. Like, it's crazy, guys. Like, it's been, just over 2 years for you, right? Or
Yeah.
how long has it been? 2 years
Yeah,
and, like,
just
a
over
month?
2 years.
Yeah, like, how you doing, Double
Oh,
Spirit?
Double Spirit, Charmaine the
Char
Villain.
I mean, the villain, we got a past sports fan that said is tuning into me for the first time. Thank you. Welcome for coming. Mr. Nate, KB Browns, Clarky, and everyone else. Thanks for coming here, you guys. Appreciate it. Wow. So, like, sometimes we feel like maybe we haven't done enough. I don't know if you've ever feel that way because I feel like streamers, DJs, anyone that's kind of like a creative can be a perfectionist, so we're always like, on to the next thing, on to the next thing. Have you had time to kind of like sit back and reflect on your journey? Because when you think about it, you didn't really know the technology like the rest of us, and just learning all this stuff very quickly, right? You're learning edits, you're learning a lot of stuff right now. So have you kind of looked back at your journey and, you know, thought about those proud moments of all your accomplishments, what you've done?
I do try to do that because I definitely get impatient, and I want everything now. And I realize um that the place that I'm in now is a snapshot of the place that I came from, and also the place that I will be in another 2 years. And it really is crazy because when I started streaming, I was interested in it, but I wasn't ready to take action. And then Richie Rich Detroit said in his show one day, he was like, yo, I'm going to do this Zoom call for anybody that's interested in learning more about Twitch. And I was like, that's cool. I am. I didn't know what he was talking about. I didn't know that. I was just like, yeah, sign me up. And then I got in there and it's like all of these DJs that have been DJing since like the 80s from
Mhm.
all over the country, everybody's streaming already. And I was like, oh crap. And then Kova was there. And I'm like, oh man, what did I do? What did I sign up for? And I was like totally overwhelmed. But I was like, well, I'm here now. I gotta do it. And like Mo One is there. DJ Detroit is there. DJ Detroit was my first raid. He busted up into the treehouse with 40 people. I almost peed my pants. Like, it was right when I started. And those guys gave me so much of themselves and so many pointers. And you know having that group of masterminds to share information and to bounce ideas off of, and get into those little settings in OBS and tell me how to get a moderator. And it everybody is so collaborative in that way on Twitch, and I had never really experienced that with my DJ career, that I totally fell in love with it here.
Yeah. Oh, wow. That's amazing. So over 2 years. Yeah. And you're growing like very, very fast as well. Do you ever feel that pressure? Like say if you're used to so many people coming in your room, and then you may have a slower day. Like, do you feel like it could be a bit of pressure to kind of maintain or keep that up? Or do you try to not look at that and look at the numbers like most streamers obviously do?
That's a great question, and I think that, um, in the last 6 months, I've really shifted, um, what I wanna do on Twitch and how I wanna do it. I definitely was feeling that pressure a lot, like my numbers and I've never seen my numbers, like, I never put it in the window or anything because it stresses me out,
Mm,
and honestly, the numbers don't really matter that much. Like, there can be 150 people in the room and nobody's chatting, or there can be 20 people in the room and everybody's wiling out all over the place.
true.
And
Yeah.
for me, I would rather have my 20 people in the room wiling out and we're all laughing and talking smack and listening to good music than to have a huge room that's like really quiet. So I really shifted because I did grow really fast, and that was amazing. What a total blessing. But I realized what am I doing? What am I trying to do? And I realized like I wasn't having the time to put the thought and the intention into what I was streaming. And so I don't use Serato. I don't have video in my DJ software, but there were these nuggets that I had been collecting of content that was really powerful and amazing to me. And I was like, okay, how do I want to shift and change my visuals, change my audio, come to the platform to share my really weird background in music that goes from like the Virgin Islands into indie pop and rock festivals into like North Carolina where I live, into my love of hip hop. Um, and I scaled back the number of raid trains that I do. I focused on the stuff that like really juices me up, like your version doesn't sound like this. That is so hard to
Mhm.
do. It's so challenging, but it is so inspiring. And so I cut down on the number of raid trains. Don't ever look at my numbers anymore, especially not while I'm streaming. And I just really shifted into the amount of attention that I'm able to give to my community and the amount of intention that I am able to use while I'm creating my show. Like I did a Jazz for That Ass tribute to Nina Simone because she went to high school in Asheville. She grew up
Oh,
right
amazing.
outside of Asheville. And so it had just been her birthday and I really wanted to celebrate her. And so like doing something like that instead of being on 3 raid trains with just playing whatever I want, that's what I wanna do, you know?
I hear, yeah, I definitely hear that. Do you like pre-plan your shows, or say if you're doing a raid, do you plan it or do you just kind of like freestyle it? Like the Nina Simone, of course, would be definitely planned and a lot of thought. And then some of your edits that I see that you do, you could tell that that's like thought out, like planned. But do you plan your shows or do you just kind of mostly freestyle them?
I started planning them more. I still really work off of a crate system. Like I started doing House Music Monday, which is amazing, and DJ Detroit spearheads that. And it's house music DJs from all over the country, including Chicago and Detroit, which are
Yeah, it's dope.
like house music. I'm so
Mhm.
honored to even like this girl from North Carolina, rolling with the big hitters in house music. So I I make crates and I'll like even in my video crates, I'll be like, okay, I think these 5 would fit into kind of the direction I want to go in. But then I have a lot of flexibility within that because I'll definitely have a lot more music than I could ever play.
Mhm.
And then it's the same thing of playing an in-person show. It's like, what are people responding to? Let me go in that direction. Like I did a house music remix tribute to Luther Vandross on Monday. I was not planning on playing an hour of Luther house remixes, but then that's what happened. And it was so fun. And I had other stuff planned for that day, but it didn't happen because we were like in that moment. And I was like, this is what we're going to do.
Yeah, that's awesome. And I mean, there is definitely a bit of pressure if you're doing it full time. Like it is a lot different doing it full time than if you're just doing it for fun. I get it. I've been trying this full time thing for 3 years now. And I'm like, oh man, I might have to pull out my shoulder padded suits back again, guys, and go back in the corporate world. I don't know. All my friends think I'm crazy. They think I'm nuts. So they don't even understand how I'm doing this, but they're not really a part of this world. So it's always nice meeting like creatives like you and others that really get it and understand it, right? Like this
Yeah.
world. Did anyone kind of think see, you're a part of the music industry, so I don't think it's too much of a leap, but like, do you have anyone that's kind of closer to you that thinks that it might be a little bit crazy doing this streaming and DJing thing, or no?
I mean, they're not real vocal about it if they are. I didn't really grow up with a family that was like, "You need to be a doctor." Like, both of my
Yeah.
parents have changed careers, like, 3 times since I've been alive. Oh,
Oh,
there's
wow.
Miss Gigi, JT Smooth, Bronx Harlem Girl.
How you doing,
Um,
Bronx Harlem and Miss Gigi? Thanks for joining us.
Miss Gigi
Charmaine
is
the villain.
awesome. Um, so, like, right before I turned into my letter of resignation to my full-time job, 2 years ago, I called my dad and I was like, "Yo, I just want you to know, like, I have not lost my mind, but I'm gonna leave this job and I'm gonna go into full-time DJing and I'm gonna keep streaming." And, like, he's been in my stream a couple times, like, they subbed to my channel, like, he's in the Virgin
Aw,
Islands, like,
that's nice.
He
Yeah.
but he loves it, he thinks it's amazing, and my sister's in
Aw.
my chat all the time, and so they never really pressured me to do a certain thing, which it could have been maybe helpful if they had been like, "You need to get it together," but they haven't.
Aw, that's good, that's really good. So
Yeah.
then I also notice you're insanely busy with real-time gigs, you guys. She's, like, on Wedding Wire and, does a lot of interesting festivals and, weddings, corporate. Um, so I'm just curious too, like, how you kinda started doing that. Was that just recent, or have you been doing it for a while? And especially DJing as well too, or did you pick that up in the last couple years?
Yeah, I've been DJing for, like, 13 and a half years now.
Mhm.
That came out of trying to learn Ableton as a singer, but I had never really, I always stayed busy word of mouth, and then I didn't have enough time to really focus on being on Wedding Wire, or, like, I had plenty of stuff because I'd been a musician for so long, um, and that's such a blessing to be able to work with some of the best venues in town. They call me and be like, "Do you wanna do a Harry Styles dance party?" And I'm
That's
like,
awesome.
"Yes, I do." And
Yeah,
then, like, to get to do the stuff that I've been able to do, but I never had the time or the capacity to really lean into building it to the place where I would need to as full-time, and so my first whole year of full-time, I had a lot of stuff booked. That was great. I was really focused on growing my stream, and then year 2, I I told Richie Rich, I was like, "Yo, okay, this is what I'm doing." And he took me under his wing, and, Mo One, DJ Detroit, DJ Flava have all been The Real DJ Dark Knight have all, those guys are out there doing it as well. And
mhm.
Richie Rich was like, "You need to get on this site, this site, this site." He was like, "Dial this number, call that person." And he really gave me like a list. And I was like, "Okay, I got the assignment. I did it all." And then check back in. I got a business coach because I'm also like, I just turned 47.
Oh, wow,
I I do
congratulations.
not have time to F around and find out,
Mhm.
like, it's not like I'm 20 and I have, like, 50 years of lifting speakers. I really
Exactly.
need to be smart about what I'm doing, and so I made some very hefty investments in myself because I was like, yo, this is terrifying. And I do know
Mhm.
a lot, but there's so much I don't know.
For
And
sure.
yeah, so because you know it's so hard.
It is. I was gonna actually talk to you about that too,
Yeah.
because I noticed, I actually just signed up for Wedding Wire. I gotta talk to you about maybe some of the sites,
Yes.
because I got to, because what I do is I door knock, which takes, and I do it the old school way, which is
Yeah.
going face to face, trying to go into restaurants, lounges, stores, whatever, right? That's where
Yeah.
I get most of my gigs is just face to face if I can get in front of a manager or someone.
Yeah.
But that's a lot of work. So getting on sites or doing more of the social media stuff and being strategic is probably better where people are more coming to you than you
Yeah.
going out, like doing outbound. So I definitely what sites do you think have like worked for you? Like has Wedding Wire worked for you? I was curious, or any of those sites?
Yes, actually, and I'm happy to chop it up with you and anybody else that because it's been so interesting to
Mhm.
learn how to do it on this level because it feels like speed dating for DJs. Like,
Yeah, totally.
it's super weird. And like my first client that I booked, I was like, I met her on the internet. I was like, that sounds a little weird and creepy, but like that's where people are these days. And
True. Yeah.
um it has worked. You definitely it's a very different system of communicating with people. There is a lot of like logarithms that you have to, most of the people book the first DJ that gets back to them. So like responding very quickly like helps you bump up in the stats and then you get like fast responders. So I'm on Bark, which is kind of better for corporate stuff, private parties. Then, but that one you have to pay per lead. So
Mhm.
anytime you respond to something, it's because you bought the lead. So then when people ghost you, I get all mad because I'm like, I paid
Mhm.
for this lead. The least you could do is just say you got somebody else, but
So
like,
true. Yeah.
right? Wedding Wire and The Knot are really expensive,
Yeah.
but they're the biggest platform where, couples are. And
Mhm.
they really do help you with your marketing. They help you with your SEO. They really give you a lot of help in how to make your business look really good and how to respond to people. But it definitely, I feel like my entire first year on there, I was just trying to figure out how to talk to people.
Hmm. Interesting. And Wedding Wire, do you pay for those? Like all those sites? Yeah, because I know Wedding Wire, I tried doing the free thing. I know a lot of DJs are under the grandfather account,
Yeah.
but the lady came back to me, she was like pressing me hard to sell it to me.
Oh,
And I
yeah.
said, look, I just want to like try it out. Like I just signed up. Can I just try it for free just for like a few days or whatever, or a couple months? But she's like, well, we're not going to put you on for 6 months. We kind of go with our paid people kind of first because she's trying to
Yeah.
sell me, right? But I was wondering because a lot of DJs here say, no, that doesn't work because it's oversaturated with DJs. But then I know other DJs that didn't pay years ago and they're on it and they have like a killing with weddings. Another thing I was going to ask you about too, if you're comfortable
Mhm.
talking about, I know your prices are listed on there. And
Mhm.
I was surprised because out here, you always have DJs that are kind of going much lower, right?
Mhm.
So, um, do you have people coming back to you and being like, "Hey, 2,000 or say 2,500 is like a little much," or like what do you how do you handle that? I'm curious too, like for weddings, or do you stick to your price and keep it there?
I stick to my price
Mhm.
because there are a lot of people that are going to do it for a lot cheaper than I am.
Mhm.
And I also my first wedding, oh, Miss Frosty's in the building, that's my girl. Um, I did my first wedding when I first started DJing for $200.
Oh, wow.
It
Yeah.
drove me crazy. I was
Of
like, "I'm
course.
never
So much
doing this
work.
again."
I can't believe
Oh
they
my
would only give you 200. That's
I
so
mean, and he was a musician, but I
no,
was
that's
like
not
young.
cool.
We didn't know what we were doing, any of us.
Yeah, yeah.
And honestly, I had no idea how to play a wedding. Like I didn't
Mhm,
know any of the stuff. And I have put in a lot of work about learning how to MC, learning how to make announcements, learning how the
mhm.
flow of the day goes, learning how to price myself. And it's always shifting a little bit as I learn more, but That exactly. G-Class, the DJ said it. When you're good at something, never do it for free. And
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
if somebody's like, I got this person for $200 cheaper or like for $400, I'm like, that's amazing. You're gonna have a great day. Congratulations. Like, I feel like as a woman, I I'm not like bargaining with people.
Exactly. Yeah. No,
Like,
I
my
agree.
price is my price, especially for a wedding, because I know, oh god, I know Mr. Nate. Like, I had no idea what I was doing, I just was like, ugh. But there are gonna be lots of people that are willing to do it for a different price, and if they want those results, then they should hire that DJ. If they want my results, then they have to pay my price.
For
And
sure. Yeah.
it's been years of, like, meditation on self-worth and talking to
Mhm.
myself in the mirror and
Mhm.
practicing transitions and building my crates and learning how to take care of people in a way that I'm like, "I know that I'm worth that price," and then I will raise that price, because also when I played those less expensive weddings, they drove me crazy.
Oh,
Like, they
yeah. They expect
micromanage me.
so much more. Yeah.
Oh, there's something about somebody when they're paying almost premium. Like,
Mhm.
I don't need to be the top, but I wanna be close-ish to the top, because when people are paying that, then they trust you. But otherwise, they're, like, up your butt about everything, and I can't do that. I'll have an anxiety attack.
And they're also paying like 50,000 or
Yeah.
probably more,
Yeah.
to 100,000 for weddings, and
Yeah.
the 2 biggest things for a wedding, guys, or a corporate event, any event that you do, is the music and the food. Those are the
Yes.
2 biggest things. So, I do find that see, I don't know if it's a small city thing or a big city thing, or it could
Mhm.
be, like you said, your mentality in knowing what your worth is. But
Yeah.
I know in big cities, there's a million DJs in Toronto. It's like New York, right? So if you go on Wedding Wire and you Google, you're going to see a million DJs like posting a wedding for about $1,000. That would be like at the lower end, right?
Yeah.
Like maybe a 12-hour day, 8 to 12 hour day for us. That would be the lowest end, 1,000.
Yeah.
And then if you can get it around 1,500, that would be decent. But then when I saw your rate, I'm like, I got to talk to this girl, man. How does she do it? Because when I went to the wedding show, the big fancy DJ companies were charging,
Mhm.
you're right, anywhere from 21 to 2,500. And
Mhm.
they even had the plasma TVs where they're DJing off of that and all the unique, like, things that they're doing.
Yeah.
Um, and they also charge DJ companies, guys, premiums off of women. So I know when I worked for a DJ company, he was literally charging $500-600 more just to book me because they wanted a female, right?
Yeah.
And I'm like, why is he's not even giving me nearly as much as he's getting, right?
Yeah.
So, but as an independent, I find it challenging because unless if you're doing corporate or you're doing higher end events, like
Yeah.
big city, it's like, no, they're just gonna say, "Well, you're too," even at 1,500, they say you're too much. So, I'm curious, like, you just literally stick to your price and that's it, you don't budge, like, at all?
I do for the most part, especially for weddings, and if it's somebody that I don't know. I do have a nonprofit rate. I have, like, different rates, and my wedding prices are pretty set. I
Mhm.
don't budge on those. My corporate and my private party rates, I still work on, because I'm still working it out, but I've also done a lot of market research. I've talked to a lot of other DJs that are at, like, different levels of, like, the "Oh, King Melody is here," the different levels of service that people are giving, and I really wanna lean more into luxury. I really wanna give people an experience of service, and taking
Mhm.
care of them on their wedding and thinking about the different vibe and thinking about that music is a really powerful tool. Asheville, even though it's a small city, it
Mhm.
is a huge wedding destination space, and it's also, like, on Wedding Wire, my Wedding Wire is more expensive than Detroit, because I'm
Mhm.
in the Charlotte market also, they make us pay for Charlotte. I've never booked a wedding in Charlotte. There are a million DJs in Charlotte. There are also a million DJs in Asheville, but I kind of feel like especially as a woman, like there's something different about us. I
Hmm.
played a celebrity party at the Biltmore Estate last year, and these women in their 50s and 60s were like, "We've never seen a female DJ before."
For
And I
sure.
was like, "What?" Like,
Yeah.
I know, but also it blew my mind. And they were like, "We are so excited that you're here and you're crushing it." And so I feel almost like responsible to other women to like not haggle. And trust me, it's hard because I'm like, this is the way that I make my living. But in the
Right.
market that I'm in, I also know that people are paying those prices for DJs and they're paying a lot more. And they're not
Yeah.
even asking questions. They're just doing it. And so for my market, I did talk to other DJs. I did scour Wedding Wire. I did look at other people's prices
Mhm.
and then kind of figured out where to put myself in there. Um, and it's scary because I'm like, what if nobody hires me?
Mhm. Well, yeah, and I was wondering with that, like, if there was a difference in the market being in a smaller place compared to here, or like I was just trying to figure it out. But I'm definitely gonna have to talk to you after about that because you literally inspired me to think. Because I was thinking, yeah, you know what? I'm it is tough when you're doing it full time, but
Yeah.
it's like we do deserve that because DJ companies, even if you work for them, they're taking a large cap from you, right? So
Yeah.
you should know your worth, and if people say, "Oh, no, no, that's too much," like even some of the high-end, department stores I worked for, right? Nordstrom and a few others. I mean, they got, like on one hat alone, it's $400, right? You know that they could pay the DJ, you
Sure.
know what I mean? But yeah, so what do you prefer too? Like, because I know you've done a lot of creative things, weddings, corporate events, festivals. Is there something that you actually prefer doing that you like, really enjoy?
Oh, my moderator Scratch Wolf is here. Wolfie. I kind of need all of it. I'm the kind of personality that I I kind of need all of it. I need a good balance of different, like the Harry Styles dance party, the Beyonce versus Rihanna dance party. That was such a theme, and I had so much fun with it. I thought of different ways to engage people. We had a screen with a hashtag that like kind of went viral. People dressed up. I dressed up. It was a whole vibe. Um, that was a blast, and that was like I got to really perform. But I love gigs where I just set the vibe, like a really classy cocktail party where they just want to hear like tropical house, where I'm just kind of like sitting in the back creating like this blanket of music. And then I really like getting to work with people on their weddings. It's a really big honor to get to do that with people. And the Barbie party, that's right, we did the Barbie party. Mo1, please be my roadie and please bring the drone. Can you please bring
Oh,
the
yeah,
drone?
drone would be dope, or I
Take
don't know.
my wires.
Do you have, like, the fishbowl, I don't know what it's called, the fish lens thing, DJ Mo one, or that lens that goes around or
He
does something
has
kinda
all of
creative?
them. Have you seen his
Yeah, that's
Instagram? Like,
dope.
everybody stop and just follow DJ Mo1 on Instagram right now because he posts some stuff and I'm like,
Fisheye,
"Yo,
that's it, the
what is
fisheye.
happening?"
We need his equipment, Mo
Yes.
one. If you weren't such a nice guy, I would head down to the Bay Area and see what car is in your lot and try to pop your trunk open because in Toronto, we are known for stealing cars out here,
Oh
so
my god, I didn't know that. We will be coming for you, Mo1. We will be coming for you, but you're such a nice person.
yeah, you're such a nice person that we can't do that to you. Yeah, actually, our mayor, it was funny. Our mayor actually said, no, it was the chief of police in Toronto said to leave our fob car keys like in front for criminals to take
What?
because there's so many criminals doing like home invasions to get a car. So they said, if you want to be safe, just leave your key fob at the front door. We're like, are you nuts? Like, are you
Just leave it in
crazy?
the car. I
Yeah,
mean,
exactly.
wow. See,
That's such
I
a
did not
Canadian thing to
know.
do. Just say
So
sorry to the
sorry. Here, just
criminal.
take my car for free. See,
It was
I
actually
knew
legit
y'all are
on the
so
news.
nice. I
Uh,
didn't know that you were that nice.
yeah, it's crazy right now going on, but that's okay. But yeah, I can't do that to Mo one. He's just too nice of a person.
Yeah,
So
way too nice. Plus he's
yeah.
got, he's got his family and his whole vibe going out, like we can't take stuff.
Yeah,
They call it
exactly.
bipping.
Oh, they
What?
call it that?
Look at the things we learn on Twitch
You
every
don't
day.
even
Like, I
know
don't even
that.
know what that is.
I don't even know what that is either. Well, you guys obviously know I don't know a lot about a lot of stuff. So, yeah. How you doing, DJ Jonah? Good to
Hey, Jonah.
know. Bipping is when they break your window and take your stuff. Oh,
Okay.
wow. I didn't know that.
I didn't
Interesting.
know that either. That's
Um, yeah, you got to be careful too. Yeah, because I know lots of friends when we were younger that would steal each other's DJ gear. It was nuts.
Oh, yeah. DJs are ratchet, man, and
It's
that's why, like,
crazy.
I wasn't
Our
friends with
friends
a
here
lot of
is
other DJs because
oh,
they're ratchet, but
yeah.
I I've gotten better at discerning which DJs that will hopefully not steal my stuff. You know who will bip some stuff is bears. Just
Yeah.
to bring it back, like, bears will break into your car and they will shred it, like, the entire inside. Like, if they get locked in your car,
Oh my
like, if you don't
gosh,
lock your car, they can get into the car, and then they'll panic because they can't get out,
that's
and they'll either,
crazy.
like, eat all the snacks in there, and then they'll just shred the entire
Same with
inside.
mice. I lived
Oh,
in an area that was, like, not
gosh.
rural, but, like, it was developing. Everyone my friends thought I lived in a haunted house, guys, and in the back, it literally looked like a haunted house, and I had all these mice at nighttime, they would go in the car and start eating the wires, like, eating all the wires. You guys
What?
do that? Yeah, there's something in the wire that they like. I
Oh,
I can't remember what it's called. It's some insulation they wrap around the wire that they like. So
is
be
that why
careful.
cats eat wires too?
What is it?
Is
Eat.
that why, like, cats are really bad for,
Yeah,
like, chewing through
probably.
wires.
Probably.
Bronx
Oh,
Harlem
yeah.
girl said it's copper.
Scratch
We're like, "It's the thing. It's the" she's
scratch
like,
all
"Copper."
my neighbor's chickens. Oh my gosh. Okay,
They
you
did.
guys, this is a odd-ended question. Have you guys been seeing a lot of animals coming out? Like I was at a friend's place like a couple weeks ago. I know this is off topic. And we looked out the window and she's like, "What the hell is that?" It was a turkey, guys. It was a turkey in the middle of nowhere just walking. And then we saw this other creature. I don't know if it was a what do you call those things? A possum?
Possum?
I've never seen those in Toronto. A
Really?
possum, coyotes, a skunk coming up to my back door. I'm like, we live in the city. We
Oh,
don't
yeah.
live where you live. You
But I live in the city.
oh,
We have downtown bears, and that's what I'm saying is, like,
but your
we
city's different. Your city's still kind of country to us.
I
To
mean,
us
it's
a bit.
sort of. This girl, Christina, she said the wires are made with soy. Did you
Oh
make that up?
no, 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 no. It's true.
Is it
That's what
true?
Miss Girl Christina, how do you know about that? You come from Boston. You're not a country girl.
She's like,
Yeah,
"Listen, I know about wires. Like, don't test me."
that's what it is. They're made out of soy, and that's what they like.
I
And
didn't
my
know that.
whole insulation when I popped open my hood, it was all eaten up or whatever you say. It was all like chewed and everything, and they wouldn't replace it. I was like, oh man,
They wouldn't replace it. They were like, "This is your fault. You got the
yeah, that's what
see."
they said. I'm like, how is this my fault? Like Nissan's the one that puts these stupid wires in the car. It says, oh yeah, we have this girl Xtina's like, we have rats and mice here. Yeah, welcome to Toronto too. It's like New York. The rats are bigger than my hat, in a large city. It's creepy. But yeah, I notice everything is coming out after the pandemic. I don't know if it's because there's less people out, but like everything, like to see a turkey in the middle of like a city is nuts, you guys, you know?
Well, I
So
just saw a big turkey yesterday. I thought it was a bear. It was so big. And then um it kind of like started moving and I saw its waddle. What what's it called? Scratch wolf. Like, I'm asking her like she knows. Um and I was like, "Oh, that's not a bear. That's a turkey." We do
oh my
have like a whole gaggle of wild turkeys that will like stop traffic. Like,
oh
they just
really?
yeah, they just
Like we have
come
geese. You guys have
straight
geese,
through.
right? We have geese. They're like, get
We
out of
have
the way.
Canadian geese.
Oh,
I mean,
Okay.
this is like really south for Canadian geese, right? DJ Diamond Lee in the building.
How you doing, Diamond Lee? He's the king. Diamond Lee. We were just talking about
Yes.
wedding DJing. Like Diamond Lee is the king of weddings as
He
well. I know
is.
he just did a wedding show that he posted.
Oh yeah.
So I definitely got to talk to you guys because we've been swapping some marketing ideas and different things. So yeah, I'm curious to all the DJs in the chat. Like, you know how I think it was who is the DJ in here? Okay, I'm gonna find their name. G Class. I think he said don't lower your price. Like don't there is no room kind of for negotiation. I'm
Yeah.
curious if what would you say to people that have come back to you and say your prices are too high for weddings and corporate? Would you walk away or would you try to negotiate with them? What would you do to all the DJs in the chat? I'm curious your responses on that, you know? Um, and I do find, I think where you live, I kind of feel like I'm not saying it's such a small city, but
Mhm.
I think word of mouth gets faster, right? You do a good event,
Yeah.
then you're getting booked for another, and it keeps spiraling. I found that when I lived in a small city, it was like bookings
Yeah.
every week. Large city like here, I find it's a lot more challenging because you're now competing against DJs that are like, hey, I'll just do it for 200 or give me
Yeah.
drinks and I'll do it for free, you know?
Yeah,
So
absolutely. And
yeah.
I agree with that, and I when, when Tweak Music Tips posts about, like, DJs that undercut and stuff like that, like, um, I have a lot of strong feelings about that because it is detrimental to the market. Like, when DJs start to undercut each other just to
Mhm.
get the gig, it starts to deteriorate the market, and when when everybody has to start doing stuff for less, and especially, like, Asheville is very expensive to live. It is
Mm.
very, very expensive to live, and I can't afford to lower my prices. I also my first year of being a full-time DJ, um, 2 of the wedding coordinators that I worked with that year asked me what I charged, and I told them, and they were like, "You need to raise your prices." And they were
Wow.
like, "We've worked with you several times now, and you need to raise your prices." And I was like,
Mhm.
"Yo, okay." And I am so grateful for that because I didn't know that I wasn't where I was supposed to be. I really do. I send Barry White out to do all of my bidding for me. If anybody's like, "That's too expensive," I'm like, "That's cool because Barry's in the back seat. He's about to whoop your booty." Um, I just think that that I'm probably not the right DJ for them.
For sure.
Because I there are a lot of things, and, like, I've learned a lot from Diamond Lee also. We chop it up sometimes on WhatsApp talking about, like, different tools, and, like, he pointed me in the direction of that dang cart, which has, like, it's my new boyfriend. I love that cart so much. I'll be, like, coming in with my cart with the big wheels. Like, I'm gonna get through a field with the big wheels. I am not everybody's DJ. Like, I
Mhm.
don't do stuff like Dancing on the Clouds. There are different things that other DJs do better than I do that I don't even need to do that. If that's what they want, then I'm not the right DJ for them. What I want is the people that want to work with me and get the results that I give, and they're willing to pay for it.
Yeah, I
And
love
so
that.
far, I've found that, and like Diamond Lee said, it is also very much about reviews, like, Wedding Wire is a lot of work. It is a hustle for the, um, statistics, for all of the tracking, for getting the reviews, because it puts you into this it keeps bumping you up as
Mhm.
far as, like, referring you and putting you higher up on the searches and stuff like that. The reviews are really important. Um and because that shows other couples that you've done a good job. And then when one person hears you do a good job and they see it, especially in the words of one of your clients, then they're like, okay. Um, but I really, I had a lady, she hired me to play her husband's 70th surprise birthday party. And she was like, I really want to hire a woman. And then I told her the price, and she was like, that's not in my budget. And I was like, what is your budget? And she told
Mhm.
me, and she was like, I mean, I really want to hire a woman, but can't you do any better on the price? And I like, ooh, I had to close my
Mhm.
laptop and walk away because I was so mad. I was like, you want to hire and support another woman by asking for her to cut you a deal? How is that supporting another woman?
For sure.
And
Yeah.
especially because my price is not at the top of my market. There are
Mhm.
plenty of DJs that also charge more than I do.
Mhm.
But I was like, yo, you don't actually want to hire a woman. You're saying that to gaslight me. And
That's interesting.
I was so mad. And so
Mhm.
I was like, okay, what is your budget? She told me what her budget was. It was a little lower. And I was like, you know what? Fine. I don't have a date booked. I don't have that date booked. At this point, I'm probably not going to book that date because it was kind of close. And then I was like, okay, you know what? I will do this because I don't have anything booked on that date. And so I did it, and then she was like, "Can we add this other service?" And I was like, "Sure, but it is an add-on." And so I added it to exactly what I had quoted her in the first place, and she
Mhm.
paid it, and then she was like, "You were amazing. Everything was perfect." But at that point, I had to get over the fact that, am I gonna have that night off and not make any money? Or am I gonna do it for, like, a little bit less? And that's when the private party I would not have done that on a wedding. I would have been like, "No."
Yeah, for sure. Because weddings are so much work, and I
So much
find the people that want the lowest price, including friends, they are the most pickiest. That's why I'm like, I don't think I wanna do any friends stuff anymore,
work.
and, and then constantly complaining if they're because they know you, right? They're
Yeah,
gonna razz you or say whatever because they know you really, really well,
yeah,
but what people don't realize the effort of even standing there, like, you're setting up, you're driving to the venue, guys, like, you're setting up all that heavy
mhm,
equipment as well, right? Which takes at least an hour to set up and tear down if you work fast.
mhm,
And you're driving at least an hour, at least here in a big city, or an hour and a half, maybe even 2 hours, right? So people don't realize the effort. And I find when you do things a lot cheaper,
yeah,
that's where people start getting pickier. But if they actually pay the price, I don't know if it's psychology, but if they
I think
pay
it is.
yeah, if they pay a higher price, and they say that with coaching too, if you
Yeah,
pay for a coach or you pay for that investment, you're going to want to work towards whatever you're getting coached for. But if you don't, then you're not really going to do that. So I think it is a bit psychology. Blockbuster Music in the building. How you doing? Good to see you. We did an amazing interview, guys. Make sure you guys check it out on the replay a couple weeks ago. Make sure you guys are adding Blockbuster Music. He does some high school raids and is like a musical genius he's like a musical library, Blockbuster Music, in
love
terms
it.
of every genre and every kind of music you could think of. So he's the guy to definitely go to. He says there should be a fee included for dealing with that one uncle who keeps requesting songs all night. And that's another thing. You try to do favors and give requests to people, but then they keep getting more and more demanding. They're not tipping you. They're not even saying thank you, right? And I think one night I did like close to 30 to 40 requests, which I
Oh,
never do, but I did. And it was going all over the place, like from rock to hip hop to country. You couldn't even mix it in at that point because they were so demanding. But I mean, they were having fun.
yeah,
But you would think that you would at least get a thank you, or maybe it's always nice when someone gives you a tip, right?
mhm.
But yeah, they definitely, I mean, they were having fun, but it was just not even a thank you. Do you kind of cap it at the requests after a while?
I It depends on the event. First
Mhm.
of all, I wanna shout out DJ K Immaculate in the house, Bam Bam the DJ in the house, um, Passport Fan. I have been DJing for 13 years, 13 and a half years. Um, so it when I play a wedding or a corporate or private event, I'm working for that client. I'm collaborating on that event with the client. And I I used to hate requests. But when I'm doing a party that is really based on, you know, several people and their tastes, I really want it to feel like them. I want it to feel like they want it to feel. And so I've invested in several tools that really help me plan it with them. I I got an app called Vibo that is amazing for music planning, and it's on their phone, which they're on their phone anyway. It
Hmm.
integrates with Spotify, YouTube, Apple Music, and they just drag different songs. And then so like I give them an assignment of like, we're crafting the music for your day. You can you can put in all of them, or you can just give me a couple genres and I'll take it from there, depending on how they want to do it. But they put in all of their music, and then I go through, I look at it, and then we talk about it. So I'm doing so many music meetings right now where we go through all of the music that they've selected. I ask them like, are we queuing this at the beginning? Are we queuing it at the end? Do I need to speed it up? I just sped up a first dance song for a couple. So like some of that production stuff that I've been doing is coming in handy. And so I really make it about them. But then I also tell them, like, I need your top 10 must play. Like, I will
Hmm.
get to all of these that I can, but also know that if your guests want to hear disco and they're raging to disco, we're going to disco.
Yeah.
Like, because that's what they're doing in the moment. And so I try to do all of the requests in advance,
Hmm.
but then I will take requests on the dance floor. If it gets crazy, I'll kind of tell people to cool it. And I'll also tell people like, I can't play that right now because it's going to train wreck what I'm in. Um,
Exactly. Yeah.
and I also have like beat source so that if I don't have something, I can look it up and try, hopefully find a clean version of it. So I try
Hmm.
to really cater as much as possible because I do know that I'm there for them and they're paying me a lot more. Now, if I'm at a bar gig, I'm like, I'm not taking requests. Like, unless you have a
Hmm.
20, I'm doing what I do because that's what I was hired to do. And I'm not gonna like jack up the vibe of this entire bar because you want to hear Sweet Home Alabama. Like,
Yeah.
unless
Some of
you have
them
a
get
hundred
like
bucks.
super aggressive, man.
Yeah.
Like I had one guy like
Yeah.
standing I was up on a booth and people on Twitch, I think King Melody might have been there, were watching. They're like, "Oh man, you're handling this so well," because they could see my face. And this
Oh,
guy just stood, he crawled up at the top of the booth,
what?
Spartacus, crawled up. And he's like, "Look," he's like, "You're playing for all the 50-year-olds. What about the 40-year-olds?" I'm like, "Dude, I have like 100 people dancing right
Yeah.
now." Like, he's like, "Well, we want to hear country." I'm like, "Okay, if I slip on country, then you guys better dance." None of them dance. And he's still standing behind me like the whole time. And then he's like, "How do you work this ring light? How do you do this?" I don't know if he was drunk.
Oh
And
my
then he's like, "Do you have any kids?" And I'm like, "Dude, I'm
Oh, he
working."
just
Like,
wanted to talk to you.
no, no, he was so weird. He looked like he was 12 years old. So,
See, I
it
can't
was
with people like that. I
out of
try to
nowhere.
politely shut them
You're gonna
down.
ask if I have kids in the middle of me DJing, like, and asking me how the ring light works? Like, you're crazy.
DJ PK1,
How you doing, DJ PK1, DJ
Spartacus in the
Spartacus?
building.
Yeah.
See, and that's the difference is like, would somebody come up and do that to a dude? Actually, drunk women probably would
No.
do that to a dude.
Oh, well,
But
maybe. Oh,
it
yeah,
it's
JP
like
Smooth says he was crazy.
so it's like, oh my God, are you serious? Like when if somebody says like this is gonna make everybody dance, I'm always
Oh,
like,
yeah, I hear that
but
all the
is it?
time.
Because it never does.
Exactly.
It
It
clears
never
the dance floor, and then if they're still there talking to me and I play it, I'll be like, "Why aren't you dancing? Like, you are now obligated to go dance to the crap song that I just ruined the entire dance floor."
Yeah, it never does. But
No.
then you do get surprised when someone gives you a request and you really don't wanna play it. Like, I think it was a Spirit song or it was some, like, 80s different kinda song, and I really didn't wanna play it in my mind. I was like, "Oh my gosh," like, this is some Irish song coming out of nowhere. Like, I'm playing, like, disco and funk right now. And I was like it was raising my blood pressure, but they kept
Oh,
asking. They're like, "Hey, just can you play it? Can you play it? We've been waiting." So, I got on the mic and I was just like, "Oh, this song goes out to so and so because they requested it. That way I don't get blamed." But the funny thing is everyone got on the dance floor and loved the song, which I was shocked. I was sitting there like deer in headlights, like, "Oh, I guess it worked.
Eh,
So I don't know if
that's
you've
like
ever had those
1% of
moments.
the time, though, that it
Yeah, it was
works.
1%. Yeah, you're
It's
right. It was
literally 1% of the time,
yeah,
because
no, that's so true.
otherwise it's like kind of a disaster. I mean, Spartacus, he's like, "It never does."
Mhm.
It People are always like, "You know what would be great?" And I'm like, "I'm gonna come to your office with your insurance job on Monday, and I'm gonna be like, you know what would be really amazing and shift your whole company is if you did this." It'd be like, "That's what it was like when you were at the club on Friday."
Yeah, for sure. Now, I had a question here I was looking at. Oh, Bronze Harlem earlier asked, who lowballs more, men or women? Interesting question. Bronze Harlem.
I feel like it's an equal opportunity lowballer.
Yeah, that's true. I feel
I
like it's
mean,
equal opportunity, men and women,
you know?
100%. I think people are very women definitely want you on,
Mhm.
like you said, like they're just like, "Oh, wow, you're a female DJ, like, I'd love to have you," and as soon as they hear your price, it's like, "No."
They're like, "Oh, I mean, the idea was really cool, but now we just wanna go with the dude that'll play anything for $200."
Oh, yeah, exactly. And, I noticed after the pandemic too, DJs have raised their price, just like concerts and artists, and like everyone in the music industry has raised their prices.
Mhm.
They're not going down at all. So it's like, I don't know, you've given me motivation to definitely go up and not budge from it and see if that works. But I also know guys out here, like Elegance and a few
Mhm.
others, getting paid 2,500 for like 2 hours for a corporate. And I'm like, what? In shock. And I'm like, okay, I need to start heading in that direction.
Yeah,
For sure.
because you know what has also gone up and is not coming down? Groceries.
Yep.
And
Yep.
that's like, I just went grocery shopping the other day, and I was like, "Lord have mercy. That was very
Yeah.
expensive."
It's insane. Like even, I think I posted this guy at a Blue Jays game, and it was $30 for just a hot dog and a drink at a Blue Jays game. $30, guys. Like,
Wow.
and even, those packs of fruit, $30 in Canada. I'm like, "This is insane, man."
Yeah,
So, yeah, everything's gone up around the world.
yeah.
Uh, so and gas, you're right. Like,
Gas, Yenta one, yeah,
Yenta, yeah, good to see you. Yeah, and Spartacus says gas as well. Yeah. Okay, yeah, so I'm definitely gonna look at that too,
yeah.
for sure. Now, going back to Twitch, do you have
Mhm.
like, a really great memory of something that happened to you, either a raid coming in or something that really surprised you on Twitch?
I mean, honestly, most things surprise me on Twitch, in the best way. I I remember the first time Selecta 720 raided me with, like, 200 people. I was not expecting that at all, and I don't think I'd ever gotten a raid that big, and of course, because I like, he's my peer, he's the one that I came over here, following along, and I know a lot of people in the chat, and I was I almost fell out. I literally my knee I was like, "What's happening?" Um, and I think somebody took a screenshot, and I was just like my whole face was just like freak out. That was amazing. I
That's
think
awesome.
anytime somebody brings their community over to my right? Even Scratch Wolf was probably she lives right down the street from me, we've known each other for
Oh,
years, and so
nice.
she was probably, like, ready to get in the car and, like, come over and fan me and pour water on my
Oh,
face.
that's awesome. That's so awesome. Yeah.
Anytime somebody brings their community over, it's it's amazing because they're, like, entrusting their community with you. The first time I got asked to be on, um I think Fedoras and Cigars was the first raid
Cigars,
train I ever
Chanel B.
did.
Oh, Chanel B,
Yeah,
yeah.
Chanel B,
Shout out
and
to
I
Chanel
just
B, the
she's so dope. I
spicy
was
one,
like,
and she's spicy,
and she
and
is
she's
spicy as hell, and
did
she's
you
a librarian.
did
She's the
you
sexy
see the song?
librarian.
Exactly. Did you see them? Oh, yeah, she is spicy. Did you see that video with her and, who is it Bob Marley's son? Uh, you know?
Oh, Dam
Uh
is it was it Damian Marley? No,
oh,
because
Maybe. Was it?
Yeah,
Can't remember.
it was, and
She was
he was is he
grinding.
in Baltimore for
Oh,
some
I don't
reason?
know.
I don't I did see it though, and I was like,
Did you see the massage video? Did you
I did
see
not
that
see the
video?
massage.
And then the other day, a couple weeks ago, you guys don't know what's going on. You guys don't know, but we're going to give you the tea. We're going to give you the 411. Honeyflow is going to bring the tea. So she sends me this video with Usher, uh, you know, topless with like, it looked like he had oil and stuff on him. He was very greasy.
He
So
does
she
get
sent
greased
me,
up.
she's like, "Oh, I'd be fine getting," I think she said something like, "Get a massage from him," and she sent me the video, so I started laughing. I'm like, Usher just reminds me of that kid, so I can't think of Usher, because he just reminds me of
Yeah,
that. Although he's
yeah.
a good-looking guy, just yeah, but she's definitely spicy. So, but
Blockbuster
I'm
Music is, like, over there eating popcorn.
curious though, now that we're talking about her, and I know someone's gonna go back to Chanel B to check this replay. Now, I'm wondering if you're spicy. Hmm.
Am I spicy? I mean, I do get spicy,
Yeah, you do get
especially,
spicy.
like, get me a little bit hangry or a little, like, a bee in my bonnet, and I'll spice it up a little bit. I will get sa like, I try to keep it clean on my stream because I know that a lot of people like, it's in the afternoon. I usually come on between 1 and 3, and so people are either in their car with their kids, they're at the
Yeah.
office. I try to keep it clean,
Yeah, I
but
keep mine
but
pretty clean.
man, do not, like don't mistake my kindness for, like, doormatness. Like, I will get spicy. I remember the first generals call that we were on, I was in there with all the dudes. DJ Missy 803 was the only other woman in the generals group for a long time. So it was like me and all the dudes. And like she wasn't there half the
Oh,
time because she has like
yeah.
the in-person gigs. And so I just started dropping the F-bomb and DJ Flava was like, I mean, he's from
Oh,
Brooklyn.
man.
So he was like, "Girl, you
Yeah.
just got all like he was like, "What? I thought you were nice." And I was like, "I am very nice." But I
That's so
do
funny.
like to curse and
Mhm.
talk about things. So it was yes, I can get a little spicy
Hmm.
on
Oh, let's
somebody's
see.
double
Oh,
vodka.
Bronze Harlem. I'm not spicy online, really. I just get my mouth into trouble online. That's it.
Yeah.
With balls and flying balls and everything else. Bronze. That was kind of a weird, funny
That was
episode.
amazing.
Oh boy. Yeah,
That whole
Bronze.
show was the gift that kept giving.
Oh my gosh. And then when I can't get out of it, guys, the story gets longer and longer. Like I'm
Oh, yeah.
trying to stop, but I don't know how to stop. And you were egging it on too.
I
You
was. I'm
were
so
egging it
sorry.
on.
I'm
Yeah.
so sorry.
Oh my goodness.
Well, once you
Uh
start digging the hole, it's harder to stop. If you just, like, stop but once you start trying to defend yourself out of
yeah.
something, I just end up digging the hole much deeper.
Yeah, you were funny. You were definitely digging.
I was
DJ Mollyparti guys had a shovel
I
and she
was like
kept digging it in, digging it in.
I was
So
going for the backhoe. I was like, "Let's get some machinery behind this."
oh, man. But you were funny, though. Your comments were hilarious. I was just like, "Oh, man." So
Yeah, I'm
for all
not
you guys
sorry.
that don't know, like, check out the female empowerment, session that we did. I think it's still on Twitch, a couple weeks or last month we did
Last
it.
month.
And, yeah, and there was, like, a big, like, blue ball aerobic story. It was hilarious, but it really was a blue aerobics ball. That's it.
It
Anyways, we're
was
gonna switch
amazing.
that topic again. Okay, so King Melody says spicy nicey. Um, and Bronze is like, I'm spicy out the womb. Yeah, wound. Yeah, I'm not. I definitely am not. Let's see. Uh, let's see here. I'm just reading this. Fukuna says Molly Party may not be everyone's cup of tea, but she's definitely someone's double vodka. Oh my goodness. Let's see here. So Bronze is like Bernie Mac. Oh gosh, these comments now they're all
Oh my
coming. Oh
god.
gosh, JT Smooth. No,
The
where
ball start.
I gotta go back there.
See, JT Smooth, it was hilarious.
Oh man. I just wish I had the video because that would make it even more funnier. You can't make this stuff up, right? Like that's
No.
what's so crazy, But
That's
anyways,
the amazing thing about life. It just gives you this endless flow of material that you're like, and then that happened, and that's insane. And you're like, I shouldn't be talking about this, but then you are talking about it and then you can't stop.
yeah.
Yeah.
Don't you feel like music is like that too, though? Like when you play music, it just triggers so many memories, like of childhood or how
Oh
you
yeah.
grew up or just something funny or quirky, or that's what's special, I think, about music and DJing as well,
Oh yeah.
right? Yeah.
Absolutely. I mean, we're storytellers, if and that's why I really like working with people on their weddings because I ask them to think about songs like that. Like I played a wedding my first year full time, and the bride told me, she was like, you have to play Living on a Prayer because all of his frat brothers are going to come out and throw him in the air. And I was like, that sounds dangerous. But I was like, okay, cool. And so we did, and it was insane. People came out of rooms that I was like, I don't even know where all these people came from, and they threw him in the air for the entire song. The
Oh,
pictures are
wow.
epic. He's just like airborne, and now they're going to be telling that story for the rest of their lives.
That's so
And
true.
like that's the kind of moment that I want to create with people because it's it's those like touchstones. And also I was like, I've never seen anything like this before. I was
Mhm.
just sitting there like, yo. And that's what music does. That's the thing that will make you like drop what you're doing and run to the dance floor to throw your friend in the air. It has like that visceral reaction that like hits you in your body. And I don't know, I'm sure there's science behind it, like the vibrations, etc., of like the way that your senses work. But I mean, I've definitely had songs that just like took me out because of the memories that they bring back, whether they be good or bad. Because it does hit you in a way that's very
Mhm.
specific.
So true. What would be your favorite genre? Because I know you go through so many different genres of music, but do you have a favorite genre or a few of them
Oh,
of music that you like?
I'm so zigzaggy. You know what? I love golden era hip hop so much. I grew up on it, even in the Virgin Islands. I love Motown and soul. Um, that that's something that I put on. Like I put on like 80s, 90s hip hop when I really need to get stuff done because I just like bop and like work. Um, and Motown just always makes me feel good,
Oh,
you
okay.
know?
Nice. What is
Yeah.
your background too? Now that I'm looking at you, I'm trying to figure out what it is actually.
As far as like my ethnic,
Ethnicity.
like I'm kind of a basic white girl.
Mhm.
My family is French, Italian, German, Scottish.
Nice.
I'm kind of a mutt. I was born in
Okay.
the Virgin Islands and then I moved to North Carolina. So it's a lot of like stuff.
I was gonna say maybe Italian or Irish in you. I was just looking at you. I was wondering if you might have had a bit of, yeah, definitely Italian or Irish, but you said Scottish, so interesting.
Yeah, no Irish, which always surprised me, but I got the, um, like, redhead, freckle Italian
Mhm.
side that my grandma had. Yeah.
Aw, nice. Yeah, and King Melody says with a lot of soul.
Ah, thank you, King Melody.
How you doing, Ashton in the club? Good to
Ashton
see
in the
you.
club.
He's got the most energy on
The
Twitch. Make sure you
most.
guys are adding him. I wish I had his energy. And
Oh my god.
speaking of energy, how do you keep up? Like I feel like it's really important to kind of get your health right and your diet because sometimes we think that we're in our 20s and then when I go out and DJ, I'm like, dang, like carrying up speakers, like I'm exhausted. So for me, I'm like, okay, I want to start eating cleaner and bike riding or getting my health in check because now that we're in our 40s, things are a little bit different, right? So do you feel like you also have to take that into consideration, like health?
Yeah.
DJing.
Yeah, absolutely. And when I set up my streaming studio, I I got my table, like, people think I'm a lot shorter than I am because I keep my table as high as I do for my streaming studio.
Mhm.
I'm over 5'7",
Are
but
you? Okay.
yeah,
Actually, I
like,
thought you were tall. I
yeah,
thought you were tall. Yeah.
I'm pretty tall, for a lady, but I also, like, so I got my table up higher because it's easier on my neck.
Yeah.
And then I have a compression mat in my
Nice.
studio. I use a
Mhm.
compression mat when I gig out. I also I try to drink a ton of water. I have these electrolytes that I found through my coach, that are amazing. They have
Mhm.
definitely got a little zinger in them. And I eat clean. I try to take snacks with me because I'm also a little hypoglycemic. So if I don't eat, like, I get semi-homicidal, and then I'm like, "Oh, I'm in a rage. Oh, I'm just hungry." Like,
Mhm.
I I forget sometimes. I ride my bike, I
Oh,
walk a lot
nice.
with
You're
my
right.
dog. I
Nice.
do, like, a little weight routine that my
Mhm.
physical trainer, um not physical my physical therapist, because I have some hip problems because of COVID, and
Mhm.
so she gave me, like, these hip and free weight things, and I know because I'll be out DJing 3 days in a row like I'm 20, and then on the 4th day, I'm like, "I can't even move," and
Yeah,
I'm like,
a lot of
"Oh,
work.
yeah, I jacked up my hip moving my subwoofer because I wasn't paying attention," and I also, like, that's why I got that cart, and that's why I have shifted some of my gear around, because I'm like, me doing this with this gear is not sustainable. Like, I have to make sure that I'm strong. Yes, Bronx Harlem Girl, health is wealth, and also, like, as self-employed people, if we are not working, we are not making money, and we are not paying our
Exactly.
bills, and
Yeah.
so those
And if
things.
anything happens,
Yes.
paying well, medically, like, you're not covered too, right? Like, well, I mean,
Well,
if
I
you die,
have my health insurance, and
your health insurance is different
I
for sure.
have business insurance, I have renter's insurance. I got a hell of a lot of insurance.
Yeah.
I was just like, insure because some of the venues in town we can't play at unless we have, business insurance, but also I was like, "Man, if somebody." It's such an adult thing. I'm like, "I'm in my 40s and I'm getting excited about buying insurance. Like, this is dumb. Why is my life like this?" But
Mhm.
I was like, "This is the responsible thing to do,"
Mhm.
and it if I have a speaker go out or if I have something happen, like, I need to know that I'm gonna be able to get through it, which also means looking up to see if the company has any warranties on, like, I had to do that last year, and the company actually, QSE, has a 2-year warranty. No, 6-year warranty. If you register your QSEs when you buy them, and they took it back, repaired it. I paid for shipping, so I paid $200, but it's $1,000 speaker.
Mhm.
So I, so, like, stuff like that, but taking care of my health, taking naps. I wake up really early in the morning to try to get stuff done. Sometimes that means I have to take a nap. I also, like, sometimes looking at my booking, I've had to be like, I need 1 day in between all of this stuff. So I try really hard to protect myself in those ways. Like, now that it's event season, I'm streaming 2 days a week. I would love to be streaming more than that, but I also don't want to overextend myself.
For sure. And then when you do events, is it like 3 times a week or a few times a week as well? And then, because I know events can be like this, you can be, like, crazy busy, 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 and
Yeah,
then maybe 1 month it's like, like, it's literally like this, you guys,
it's
seriously.
so crazy.
It's so crazy. Like, I remember one, month I had, I think, 14 events, which was a lot. That was a
That's a
lot for me.
lot.
It was a lot for me. I got lucky, but then I got hit with COVID, long
Oh,
COVID for like a year and didn't feel like myself. So everything
oh my god.
halted. But
Yeah,
like that month was an amazing month for me. It was like boom, 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 right?
yeah.
Um, it's kind of like creating that funnel when you keep pushing and keep applying or keep talking to people, and you may get nothing for weeks, but then all of a sudden they come back to you like in
Yeah.
all in 1 week. It's like sales in a sense, right?
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, like do you kind of have actually, would you also like a residence spot? Do you have a residence spot, or would you like one, or not really? Do you like kind of what you're doing right now, like different events?
Well, I have like a once a month residency that I do with a hotel, the A Loft here in
Nice.
Asheville.
Hmm.
Um, it's a Saturday night though, and so, when I signed up this year, I was like, there are already some Saturday nights that are booked out, that I'm gonna need a sub for. I need to switch, and I don't really want a residency right now unless it was on a weeknight. And even a weeknight, I feel a little hesitant for, because like as a DJ, you book the day. Like that's your
Hmm.
inventory. Once all your Saturday nights are booked, like you don't have any more Saturday nights to book.
Yeah.
And that's the biggest night. So like if you sell your smallest package for the lowest price on a Saturday in October, you got to turn down all the big packages that come along for that Saturday night in October.
Hmm.
And so right now, the space that I'm in, I don't want to take on a residency only because I'm still feeling out like what my booking is like.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? And I'm afraid because residencies don't usually pay as much as a private event
For
or like a
sure.
really big show at the Orange Peel that I really want to do. Like I do a semi-regular 80s 90s dance party at the Orange Peel, which is so fun. I mean, who doesn't love the 80s and 90s? And I do it with a
Mhm.
DJ friend of mine. And it's a great moneymaker. It's a lot of fun. It's fun to work with them. People dress up, they get the assignment. But that's not even a residency because they're such a nationally and internationally booked venue. It depends on what their inventory is. And so it all comes down to like the inventory, of like, I have this many dates that are prime time. I don't want to book them out for something that's not going to be as big as something that I could do, which sounds terrible. I know.
No, I don't think that's terrible. It's your business, so I totally agree with you. I feel the same way with residency spots. It would be nice to get, but then there's prime days where you need to, you could get
Yeah.
other bookings. Yeah. I see you headlining. Like I see you headlining like some of these other girls that are going across country and headlining like Portia Live and Jay Chalet and, like all those amazing women. I definitely see you doing that. Like, have you ever thought about that? Like, doing your own event and headlining?
Um, I've thought about it a little bit. Blade is Truth is here.
Are you doing Blade is Truth? Make sure you guys are adding Blade is Truth too. She's an amazing person and
She's
gamer.
amazing. Yes,
And
she
all these
is.
other, definitely everyone else in here as
Yes.
well. Make sure
All
you
these
guys are
awesome
adding each
people,
other.
these
Yeah.
amazing people in the chat. And that's what I love about Twitch is like everybody is so dope. Like everybody's got a different thing for their stream and a different thing for what they do and how they incorporate themselves into it. You know, I I never meant to stop singing when
Hmm.
my band broke up. I'd never actually meant to be a DJ. And so when I became a DJ and I was trying to learn Ableton, it was really all just so I could be a better producer, singer, songwriter, electronic singer. Like I've opened for Bonobo. I've collaborated with Emancipator on one of his albums. I've like performed at some pretty big festivals, and it was all of what I was doing was in support of that.
Hmm.
And like I know last year on my 46th birthday, I sang on my stream for the first, like I've never done that before, and it was hard because the voice is a muscle and it gets out of shape, and mine is definitely out of shape. and also working out the technology and the stems and how I wanted to trigger things in the song. But now I know that I can do that. And what I feel like I want to do, it's like all of the things that you do. Oh, thank you, Wolfie. You're the best. All of the things that you do in your life add into each other.
Mhm.
So the technology that I'm learning, I'm actually learning Ableton again now. I'm learning it in a different way. I'm learning how to make blends and edits, which I've always wanted to do, and I get to do it now. Um, it all adds together. And so I'm just trying to kind of be be patient with myself and not try to get frustrated because I'm not learning it fast enough, or I'm not doing it fast enough, or I don't have the ideas fast enough of like what could open for me, what could open up to me possibly. Like, do I become like a bonobo that has a live band setup as well? Like, he plays DJ sets, but he also does these incredible live band shows where he'll have a vocalist and he'll have somebody on electronics, and then he plays bass. Like, I've sat in with him playing bass and he was like amazing.
Nice.
So see, love is here. So I think for me, I'm I'm always trying to make sure that I stay open to like what else is possible,
Mhm.
and not just get stuck in like, well, this is what I'm doing, but also like, oh, well, what if I try that? Or like, what if that? And so I think for me, I would love to be headlining. That would be amazing. I think just headlining as a DJ, I'm not a fancy DJ. I don't scratch. I don't, that's not the way I taught myself. So I don't really know. And I learned on a program that doesn't do that. So I don't know if as a DJ, like I'm fancy enough for that kind of thing, but I would love to be in an incarnation where that was possible. How's that? Putting it out in the universe.
Yeah, I think you can do that because you are like, this is your own show. There is no right
Yeah.
or wrong answer, right? Like in what you do. I know a lot of guys will be like, put you in that box.
Yeah.
Like that's how it was when I first started. Hey, you can't really do a talk show. That's not going to be like super popular if you're a DJ, or like just a lot of different uh reviews. Oh,
Mhm.
TikTok, that's stupid. Why are you doing TikToks? But now look at TikToks, like the reels have blown up on Instagram,
Yes.
Facebook. Like people would be like, Twitch, like, why are you, I don't get this whole Twitch thing. Like, but now Twitch is almost becoming like a YouTube, or like
Mhm.
TikTok has blown up, right? So it's kind of interesting how people don't get certain things, but then like a year or a couple years later, how much things have changed for us. And now this is like the new TV,
Yeah.
basically, right? So you're in charge of what you do. I think if you can sing, I would definitely get on rock singing. Like it doesn't necessarily have to be just DJing. Like
Yeah.
do what makes your heart, like do whatever drives your heart and makes you, like fuels you, right? In
Yeah.
in whatever it is that you're passionate about, right? So there is no right or wrong way of doing things. It's whatever you want your show to be. And I think that's really dope that you have singing. It's kind of like Chanel B or Diva
Mhm.
929, Jay Chalet. Sometimes they'll break out in
Mhm.
singing on their while they're DJing, right?
Yeah.
Um, so I say do it. Like even if you just did a stream and you just started singing, it wasn't DJing. I think
Yeah.
people would be very interested in hearing your voice, you know?
Yeah, I do, and I think that sometimes when you throw yourself in the deep end, you already know you're in the deep end. So you can't like pull it all out because you're like in the deep end and you're like, let me figure out how to swim first before I do everything. And I
True.
think
Yeah.
I'm I am a dive in the deep end kind of girl. Like, I went full time before I was ready. I like, but it's like I've also haven't some I have held part of myself back because I was like, "Oh, I'm already risking a hell of a lot doing what I'm doing. I don't know if I can do all of it, because it takes a long time to learn some of this stuff. And then to also learn the technology to break down some of the songs so that I could sing over them is like
Mhm.
a whole other section of technology. And I think I just didn't want to freak myself out. I was like, let me learn the Stream Deck before I throw myself to the dogs completely and give
Mhm.
myself a nervous breakdown. Do you know what I mean?
No, I hear you, and especially as a singer, so I guess I can't, put you on the spot to sing, like 1 or 2 sentences, like just 1
No.
sentence. Like, if I did listen, I've never said this on a show. My voice will break concrete. Like, the concrete is frozen in Toronto with ice. I will break that. That's how horrible my singing voice is. So, I will put it to the test. If you sing 2 sentences for me, I will sing back to you.
Oh
And
god.
I would never sing. I would never ever do that. It's kinda like my freestyle. I
It's a
challenged,
MF and
Bam
sing
Bam.
off.
I challenged Bam Bam, for a freestyle battle, and I suck at freestyling. I sound like such a valley Canadian girl, but I did it.
Bam Bam
So
should come on here and do some freestyle right
oh,
now.
I was totally trash talking him, but you know what we did? We used the chat what is it? Chat GDP? I can't even say the right
Chat
GTP?
GPT,
Whatever it's called?
GPT,
Yeah, so
GPT.
so DJ Jen was, like, using the Chat GDP thing, and, she was giving me the freestyles, like, long paragraphs.
Oh no.
So, I was pretending I was writing it in my notepad, and I just kept trash talking Bam Bam. I'm like, "Yeah, Bam Bam." I'm like, "You want some of this? You want some of this? Come on, Bam Bam." I was totally trashing him,
Not with the
and,
effect. You gave him the effect too.
and then Jen gave me these I'm like, "Jen, I can't read all this out." But this Chat GDP knew everything about Honeyflow. It was
Oh,
like,
it's so
they knew
creepy.
where I lived, they knew
Oh, yeah.
everything about me. I'm like, "How does Jen know exactly what area I live in? Like, this is creepy."
Oh,
And
yeah.
Jen's like, "Oh, it's Chat GDP. It knows everything
It
about
knows
you."
everything.
And it gets smarter, I heard, artificial intelligence, the more you put in,
Oh,
the
yeah.
more it starts learning. It's like Terminator, guys. It's creepy.
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
even wanna use it.
Hey,
But
Lala.
anyways,
Queen Lala
so
is here. Well, you know what? The funny thing about that is that I'm actually training my Chat GPT so that it can start helping me either write stuff that I'll edit or edit stuff that I've written. Because I've
oh,
had it write some stuff that I was like, "Okay, that's horrible, but this is good," and I take that and I redo it.
mhm.
Um, but some of the stuff I've told it, I, like, get really frustrated because 'cause I'm like, "Ugh, you don't even know," and I'm like, "Of course it doesn't know, I didn't tell it." So, I'm training it. So I was like, "Ask me 20 questions about my business and ask me them one at a time,
Mhm.
and ask me about my morals." So, like, I'm having this, like, month-long relationship conversation with ChatGPT.
Oh my gosh.
Like
I can see how robots could be boyfriends and girlfriends in the
yeah, right?
future, guys. This freaking robot knows more about our lives and
Oh
has
my
full
god.
conversations with us. Did you know you can program bots? Like Mr. House programmed some like bot in his chat and everyone was laughing at me because he's like, Honeyflow, the last half an hour you've been talking to the bot, like about dinner and about all these but this bot was getting I didn't know it was a bot 'cause it didn't rate as a bot. It I even asked if it was a real person or a bot because it kinda sounded like Stream Elements, and that freaking bot came back to me and said, "No, I'm a real person." I was like, "Oh my
What?
gosh," and the bot's like I said, "You lied to me." I said back to the bot, "You lied to me. You're a robot. I'm not talking to you." And then it starts putting up robot icons at me. Like, this freaking bot was so everyone
So
was laughing.
sassy.
They're like, "Yeah, it was super sassy with me," and I'm like, "Ew, gross. I don't wanna deal with this. I feel like it's, like, creepy," you know? So
Well, that is the creepy thing too, because, I mean, first of all, when I go into DJ Daz stream, his is called, like, Mr. something. It seems like a butler name or something, and so I always wanna talk to it, and then I'm like, "No, no, that's his bot." But so and also, for like the first 3 months that I was on Twitch, I think I talked to all the bots because I had no idea. It was like, oh, it's talking to me. That's so nice. Hi, Stream Elements. Thank you. My day is great. And then I was like, oh my God, I'm so dumb. But some of the bots, like Nightbot, it is really, it's kind of snarky. Like
It is.
it, and you have to be careful when you program it. Like I only have it do like very, very basic fact-based commands. But
Mhm.
I know that I was talking to DJ Earl McKinney and B Stew when I first came on, and they were like, oh girl, we had to take Nightbot out because it was getting so nasty with people.
Oh
She
my
was like, I
God.
couldn't get it to like rein it in. And like when you go into DJ Richie Rich Detroit stream, like Nightbot is really sassy and kind of rude. It'd be like, oh, you only talk about yourself. And you're like, what did I say? I didn't even do
You can make
anything.
it mean. That's what
Yeah.
Mr. Lenhouse told me. You can make it mean or nicer. And I'm like,
Well,
don't make it
I'm
mean
not
to
even
me.
joking.
He's like, oh, I'm going to try to make it mean to you. I was like, what the hell? I'm like, don't make it mean to me. There's already enough mean people sometimes
I
online. I don't need
know.
another troll. But I just thought it was creepy because the more and more you train these things, the more and more they know about you. And
Yes.
you guys got I can't even get into the video. You guys got it. There's a video with a kid asking where these things actually came from, and it's a really creepy video, guys.
Well, I
So
don't want to
all I
see
say is Google it and you'll find out. I can't even say anymore. Thank you so much, Kelmac, with the subscription, 14 months strong. Thank you so much. Kelmac's a detective in Chicago.
that. Oh,
And
snap.
yeah, he well, I don't know if I should be sharing all their business, but I mean, he works with DJ Tila. You know, she's a police officer too, eh?
I did
So
not know that.
yes, so that's why I always ask because I think it's so dope. Like I can't see the girl holding a gun because she's just like so
Yeah,
sweet
she seems so sweet.
and she's so calm. She's like, "Hi guys, how you
Well, I mean,
doing?"
you're hella calm when you're a cop and you got a gun. You're like,
She's so
yeah,
sweet,
I'm
but
chill.
they're partners in crime. So
Oh, that's
when I
awesome.
get out to Chicago, Calmac said he's he told me he's like, "We're gonna take Honeyflow to the hood and like drive in the police car." So I'm interested in going in the police car, you
Yeah,
know,
you got to do a ride
in
along.
Chicago. Yeah, he always they bug me. But thanks a lot, Calmac. Calmac's like, we got to take her there. I'm like, are you sure you want to take me there, Calmac? Because I will. I'll talk to everyone.
Honeyflow's gonna get you in some trouble. She'll
I'll
start
get
talking
you
to
in
all the
trouble.
wrong people,
Yeah, I'll
and
talk to
you're
everyone.
like, "Don't talk to anybody at the gas station. You're gonna get kidnapped."
Yeah, I'll talk to everyone. It's very, very true. I'll be out the sunroof window. I'm in a police car, you know,
Oh my
doing the
god,
sirens.
you're like from the South, except in Canada, like because people from the South are hella friendly, and
Oh
like
yeah.
we almost got carjacked when I was in
Oh my
Atlanta.
gosh.
My first boss in the music industry took me to IKEA with him and his wife, um, to rebuild their kitchen. Now that I think about it, that's kind of weird. But we're in a U-Haul at the gas station, and this guy starts cleaning the windshield, and we're like, "Yo, Sean, you need to get back in the car." And then like, dude starts like getting in the car, and I'm like, we're totally gonna get murdered in the Atlanta gas station parking lot because like I was like, we're getting kidnapped is what's happening here, because then somebody else was coming around the side and I was like, this is not going to be like, this is not the kind of headline I want when I go out,
Oh man. I
you
think people
know.
are more afraid not afraid of me, but I'm very unexpected that they get shocked.
Yeah.
Like being in Atlanta, I remember walking down in the underground or walking outside and like at least 50 guys look like all like Lil Jon, Lil Wayne, you know, grills. And some of them look hard. Like one guy opened up his jacket and he had a long knife like from the top to the bottom of his jacket. And I was like, "Oh, wow." I'm thinking in my head, "That's a pretty big knife." But I'm like, "Well, he's selling DVDs, like bootleg DVDs. Like, I'm gonna barter with him and see if I could get some, like, DVDs for cheaper." Right? So, I'm like, "I'm
Mhm.
not gonna let these guys intimidate
I
me."
would just
So,
pay the price that he wanted with that big
me
ass knife.
me being the only one walked right through all of them, and then I started yapping with all of them, and I said, "Hey, look, I do a radio show, like, any of you guys rap? Any of you guys can sing?" And they're all, like, running. They're all running to grab their CDs. I go, "Listen, I wanna see if you guys are any good." So I had like 50 guys on the
Oh
street,
my God.
like all trying to rap and sing to me. It was hilarious, you guys. And these guys look hard. Like these guys look like guys you would not want to mess with on a street corner, but
They were like, "This lady's an agent. We have got to get her to sign us up right
it
now."
was
And
so
just like
funny.
that on cue, not your average guy, Mr. ATL himself walks in as soon as we start talking about Atlanta.
Oh man, yeah, Atlanta was definitely something else years ago, years ago. But I feel like if you treat people like just you treat people like people, then you get that respect back. But I definitely feel like, yeah, definitely prayers over my life have probably helped me not get kidnapped or get into like a white van with like, someone giving you food and you walk in the
Somebody
white
handing out
van.
sandwiches.
And I'm like, sure, I'll take that sandwich.
I
Like,
mean, it honestly depends on how hungry I am at that point.
same with me. I said if a serial killer comes by with a white van and says, "Hey, come here, come here. I got some jerk chicken, rice, and peas in the car," and
You're
opens
like,
up
"Oh,
the slider door.
do you have dipping sauce with that? Because that sounds amazing right now."
Oh man, I don't know. Sometimes it's good to look at life that way because you don't realize how bad it can be out there. But then
Oh, yeah.
other times you might be a little too trusting.
Yeah.
Like
I
when I
mean,
talk to my
yeah.
New York friends here, like Bronx, Harlem, and some of the New Yorkers, the stuff they tell me, what they carry and everything, I'm like, wow,
Yeah.
that's crazy.
It's insane, and I mean, I'm pretty like, I don't really leave my house that much. I mean, when the pandemic hit and everybody was like, "Well, you gotta stay home," I was like, "Cool, I got it." Like,
Mhm.
I've been looking for an excuse not to go anywhere for a hot minute
Yeah.
because sometimes people like, I'm an introvert, and so I definitely have, like, a time limit before I need to, like, hit reset, and sometimes if I people for too long, I'm just over it, and at that point in my life, I had been, like, just hoofing it, and I think I was ready to kinda bring it in a little bit, but especially, like, I mean, I'm so paranoid, I'll be walking through the grocery store parking lot, I'm like, "That person's probably a kidnapper. That dude
Really?
is like"
I
oh,
don't even
yeah.
think any of that.
Oh my
I'm
god, I'm so bad.
I'm just like, how come that person didn't say hi to me when I walked by and said hi to them? What's their problem?
I am
You
so
know?
bad. I'm like, "Why are people talking to me right now?" Like, I'm trying to have
Really?
a moment by myself. Yes.
I kind of thought you were a mix. I thought you were, what is it called?
And
What do
and
you call,
I'm an extroverted
like,
introvert.
yeah, that's what it
Yeah.
is. What is it called? Ambiavert or something?
Oh, I don't know.
Ambi
Not your average guy, what's it called?
There's a middle name,
See,
Ambia.
Bronx Harlem girl, me too. I'm very vigilant.
Oh, that's it. How do you say it? Ambivert? Oh my
Ambivert?
gosh, there's so many names. Yeah, where you're an introvert, extrovert. So you refuel being alone, and
Yeah,
extroverts like myself refuel off of people, but
yeah,
you need that time to kind of be alone. I'm the
yeah,
opposite. It's like I need that time to be with people
yeah.
and then I can be alone. Yeah. Interesting. Nice. So, Blockbuster says Lavert.
Levert.
Oh, man. Oh, Bronx says I'm super vigilant. I'm gonna have to find out what you do, there in the Bronx, Harlem girl as well. Let's see. Not your average guy says, "Man, I love being around people." So you're definitely an extrovert. So yes, I was gonna ask you guys, do you have a few more minutes too? I know the time's gone by so fast. It's 9 o'clock.
Yeah. Yeah, I
Okay.
got a couple more minutes and then I'm like kind of a grandma. I go to bed really early because I wake up really early.
Yeah. Oh, wow. You're one of those morning people.
I
Mm,
no, I hate it, but I only do it because I feel bad. Like, if I sleep too long, then
mhm.
it takes me forever to start my day, and then I look up and I'm like, "It's, like, 11 o'clock and I haven't done anything," and then I start to be like, "Oh my god, I got so much to do." I start to feel freaked out.
Mhm.
So, even when I quit working my 9 to 5 job, I've kept the same schedule the whole time.
Oh,
Like,
nice.
I
What time do
still
you wake
wake
up
up
at then?
I wake up between 5:30 and 6.
Shoot, that's early. I'd be going to bed at, like, 5 p.m. if I had to wake up at that time. 5
I
AM?
mean,
You're
sometimes
like
I
my
take a nap.
friends. Oh, yeah, but that's so early. How come that early?
It's really early because Also, it takes me a while to wake up, so I need to have I drink my coffee and I write in my little morning pages like the artist way,
Mhm.
and I do like a little meditation, usually with DJ Classics. Now she's on YouTube.
Mhm.
And then I take my dog out. We walk for like 3 miles.
Oh, wow.
I do my little weights. Ooh, ooh, ooh,
Nice.
ooh,
That's
ooh, and
awesome.
then I get to work. Like yesterday, I had a 9 a.m. call, and just because I know I need that structure, because if I don't have that structure, I
Mhm.
will just be all over the place and nothing happens. Like I have got to keep myself contained like that. Yes, the discipline, because
Mhm.
if I start to get undisciplined, it's like not going to the gym.
For
You'll be
sure.
like, "I'll
Yeah.
go tomorrow." And then it's like 3 months and you feel like crap and you haven't done anything, and I just have to keep it as regular as possible.
Yeah, exactly. No, that's makes sense for sure. And I was gonna say also going back to the Twitch Award, the
Mhm.
nomination for the best newcomer. How did you feel too on Amani Experience? Did you win that, the best newcomer? I thought you did.
I did.
Yeah, you did. Yeah.
I
So
did, and then I really only went on to congratulate whoever was gonna win, which I did not think was gonna be me,
mhm.
and
Oh
then
wow.
I won, and I was like, "What?" I, like, almost had a meltdown, and it was such an honor because there were especially the people that were nominated, like, it
Mhm.
was DJ Alizé and Big Stove and DJ Premier. Like,
Wow.
it was the group of people that had been nominated. I was like, "I'm definitely not gonna win that," and that's fine. It was an honor to be nominated, and then I won, um, and it was really big, and it was, I don't know, it felt amazing. I mean, awards are awards, and it's like a, something from your peers to be like, "We see you," and
Mhm.
that was amazing. Like, I'm trying to win best DJ of Western North Carolina right now, and, like, it's a voting thing, and it is what it is, but it's another way of just being, like, recognized in your community for working hard, and, like, my first year on Twitch, I worked hella hard. Like, I was in people's streams like it was my full-time job,
Mhm.
supporting and networking and meeting people and collaborating with them and working on my own stream and trying to learn the technology and trying to do cool stuff and being on raid trains. Like, at one point, I was streaming 6 days a week. Like,
Yeah, it's a lot.
that is
Definitely burnout.
so much.
It is. Yeah.
And and I felt like that was such, so for that to be the outcome of all of that work, I was like, "Wow, that's amazing."
Mhm. That is amazing for sure. And, like, what would you tell someone that is just starting streaming or DJing or saying, "Ah, I don't know, it seems like a lot." Like, you really have accomplished a lot in such a short amount of time, and, you should be so proud of yourself because a lot of DJs, like, a lot have quit or just haven't come as far, because it is definitely a grind in real time and online as well to keep pushing. Um, so yeah, you should be definitely proud, like proud of those moments,
Thank
you
you.
know?
Thank you.
Yeah.
I am, and I try to remind myself, of how far I've come in a short amount of time, because, like, I've only been I mean, 13 and a half years to be a DJ is kind of a drop in the bucket. It's especially, like, people that I've met on Twitch that have been DJing since the '80s. Like, but for me and the path that I'm on, I taught myself how to DJ in a program that's not a DJ program, and then
Mhm,
I've the things that I've been able to do under all those circumstances are crazy and amazing, and I think if I were to tell a new DJ or a new streamer, just what has worked for me, is just like, just keep showing up,
mhm.
because that's honestly I feel like 90% of it, because I don't always feel like doing the thing, but I show up and I do the thing and I make another step of progress. And then that makes me feel good. And then I celebrate the tiny victory that happened. Like yesterday, it was that I got 2 new clients. And I mean, I
Mhm.
shook my booty and danced around. My dog
Mhm.
and I were like, whoa, like,
That's awesome.
because we have to, like, your brain remembers stuff like that when you celebrate and you like let the endorphins out, and your brain is like, let's do that again,
Yeah.
and so I think the practice of showing up and just showing up for yourself, first of all, and then just keep doing it, even though you don't really know what you're doing necessarily. Because there have been a lot of times where I'm like the first time I was on Your Version Doesn't Sound Like This, they were like, you don't have to do the acapella challenges. And I was like, they were like, guests don't have to do it. And I was like, oh, hell no, I'm doing it. And I was like, oh my God, I don't know what I'm doing. And I was like, that's okay. I have a musical sense and I'm gonna
Yeah.
work it out.
No, you
And I
do.
did,
Yeah.
and so I did it scared, and I was really scared, but I did it and nobody died. So I was like, okay, cool. That was awesome.
And I
And
don't see
then
any females doing, like, kinda remixing and doing I mean, I don't see a lot, that I know that are actually making edits and doing different things, like, more the music production side too, and doing
yeah,
it, like, live or in front of people, so I think that's really dope. That's a good niche that you have too.
thank you. There are not a lot. There are a few, but that's the whole thing about women in music, is that there are not enough. Like, I just started working with a a really niche DJ company here in town, and I got to meet the whole team last weekend, and they were like, "Oh my God, we're so glad that we have a female on the team now. We've been looking for a female to be on the team for a while." And they were like, "We really think there should be more female DJs." And that's, I think so too. Is that
Yeah, for
DJ
sure.
Boogie in the house? How you
How you
feeling,
doing?
Pam?
DJ E Boogie, how you doing? Good to see you.
My
Yeah,
reader's on.
if you guys have any last minute questions, drop them in the chat before we wrap up as well. And it's so true. That is very true. Like there's 10 million streamers actually on Twitch, and we see tons of females. I've really dug for a lot of females since I
Yeah,
started 3 years ago. Um, so there looks to be a lot of women, but city to city, if I ask any of them, guaranteed you could count them on your hands, right?
yeah,
Like you really don't see many. It really is a niche. And I say use it to your advantage too, right? Like if companies and other people are charging a premium off of women, then do it yourself,
yeah,
and know your worth, kind of like what you were saying too, right? Um,
yeah.
yeah.
And
And
absolutely, Honeyflow, and I say that not to interrupt you, but I say that to you as well, as to think of when you are setting your prices, that you have something really unique and special, because you are probably one of the only female DJs in your market. And in that way, you have a different way of doing things than probably some of your male counterparts that may not pay attention to, like, how good their setup looks, or that their cables are sticking out, or that you have scrims on your speakers, or like, I mean, just keep that in mind, because it is an asset, and it is something that sets us apart. And I
mhm,
try to I recognize that, because people treat me differently as a female DJ, both for good and bad. And
mhm.
so I'm going to use it as an asset, and I'm going to try to use the the more feminine side of the aesthetic of my setup, or how I take care of people, like, to elevate, and because some people are looking for a female DJ. And
Yeah.
so you do have that, and it's very special.
Yeah, I think it definitely is too, and just even, like even for weddings, like incorporating, like I incorporate game prizes and like games or like a candy limbo stick. And it sounds
Oh my
simple,
god,
but people love it,
that
right?
sounds amazing.
Yeah, and I don't see any other DJ doing that. And then even
Yeah.
working with like in the past years ago when I worked for a DJ company, it was they would hire Brazilian dancers, carnival dancers to the corporate, or like
Mhm.
a violinist or a drummer, or they would incorporate like different entertainment and merge it, fuse it together.
Yeah.
So that's where I got the idea. Hey, why don't I incorporate like game prizes and do a few fun games like during the wedding, but do
Yeah.
something a bit different that other DJs aren't doing, or emceeing, hosting, not just being the DJ to play music. So you're right. I think you can tap into your feminine side and really get better at it too, when you're
Yeah.
interacting with people, even brides. Like a lot of DJs are like, oh, don't do a wedding show. It's going to be like $5,000-$6,000 and it's expensive to get a booth and you never get bookings. Well, I literally went to a wedding show, used a Groupon ticket and faked being like a bride. Like me and my friend just pretended that we were, so because I was snooping on the DJs to see, okay, what are they charging? What are they doing? And I
Yeah.
saw 3 or 4 DJs there and they weren't interacting. And I'm thinking, man, I should just like hand out my cards like to brides. And so I kind of like we're slipping my radio, my DJ card to different brides, but it's the way you talk to people too, right?
Yeah.
And I think that's what gives us a leading advantage. We understand, I think, in this, especially with brides, we understand what a bride goes through or what a woman goes through, right? So if you're able to speak to them, then I think that is also a leading advantage, right? So,
Yeah, and knowing that, like, one of the like, my bride that, is kicking off my whole wedding season this weekend, she was telling me some of the things that people had said to her as she was shopping for entertainment, and she's like she's not my age, she may be, like, 32, and so one of the band leaders was like, "Oh, so you're, like, older." And I was just like, "Yo, you just said that to a potential client?"
oh
Like,
wow.
I just the way that people were talking to her and, like, this girl is smart.
Mhm.
She's in school, she's a social worker, like, she is on her shtick, but I was like, this could be your sister. Like, are you really
Mhm.
is that how you talk to potential clients? Like, they're not even people? Like, I was like, "Yo, I'm first of all, I don't even care if you hire me or not. I'm so sorry that happened." Like, because
Mhm.
that should not be your experience as somebody that's gonna go do something that's terrifying anyway. First of all, people don't plan weddings, normal people don't plan weddings, and normal people don't throw huge events, which that's what a wedding is. And
Mhm.
so I just was like, I couldn't believe that that had been her experience. And so when I'm talking to a bride, like I'm talking to a woman that's about to launch into a new life who's like freaked out because there's all this stuff happening. Like, yeah, it's super disrespectful. And I couldn't believe that he said that to her. Like, okay, she's 32. Like, that is not
Wow.
even older,
Oh
first of
my
all.
gosh.
But I think that as having the compassion to just be like, "Yo, that's a person that you're talking to." I don't know if I felt like that because I'm a woman and because I'm like I mean, he would have thought I'm, like, over the hill at my age.
Oh,
Like,
man.
really? All pinky with attitude is
I'm there
here.
t I'm there too. How you doing, Pinky with Attitude? Yeah, I definitely hear you on that. And you can pick up what other DJs or other people are doing. Like, some DJs will drop a wedding to get, like, higher pay somewhere else. And
Yeah,
I've gotten a few calls for that, and it's shocking that a DJ or a person would actually do that on someone's wedding day, and then
yeah,
I'm getting a last minute frantic call like, "Hey, can you do this?" I'm like, "Yeah, for sure." Like, I'll do whatever I can to make sure it's really works really well for you, right? Because I
yeah.
feel bad. Can you imagine booking? You have all this booked a year in advance, and a guy just pulls out because he's like, whatever.
Let
I
me
could
make
get
more
paid
money over
way
here.
more somewhere else, and I'm I'm like, wow. So I think it's just being
Yeah.
there and having good customer service. And we also become wedding planners. We're not just DJs. It's kind of like Twitch. We're not just a DJ. It's like we've become producers, right? But
Yeah.
um, but for a wedding, I've had wedding planners cut out early too. Once they got paid, they're out. And then I've seen that. So then everyone's looking at me like video, audio,
Oh,
caterers, and I'll just jump in because I can be a bit of a control freak trying to ensure everything's fine. So I'll
yeah.
jump in the back kitchen, the caterers, this, making sure the arrangements are done, like everything, But you learn quickly. So you're probably going to be a
Yeah.
wedding planner in no time. I think you're going to be one soon
I
in no.
mean, no, that's a little much for me, but but I do a lot of like I definitely work with the rest of the team. You know what I mean? Because like it's a team. It's not
Yeah.
like the DJ is the star of the show or
Yep.
it's like we should all be working together to make sure that this client has the most amazing day possible.
Yeah. So
Whether that
true.
means that like I need to get out of the way or we need to hurry this along or they just need to stand over here and drink water for a minute because they're dehydrated. Like it's really all about, making it go the best it possibly can as a team because I don't always know what the best thing is. Honeyflow was like
Mhm.
about to jump in the kitchen and start like serving the cake.
No, I'm serious. I
He's
am
like, I'm
so like
ready.
that. Yeah, like I am so like that. Like I don't know why. I just feel like I hate seeing like an event or something that goes wrong. So
Yeah.
it's like I try my best, but then that can burn you out because you're doing
Oh,
a lot
yeah.
more than you should. It's
Yeah.
kind of like a celebration of life when I did a friend's funeral. Oh man, everyone was looking at me like for everything. And I'm like, listen, guys, like I'm not the funeral director. I've never done a funeral in my life, but now everyone's looking at me for everything, right? So
Yeah.
that was a lot, but you learn a lot too.
Yeah.
I know we're gonna wrap up too, but I was gonna ask you too. I didn't see any questions in the chat. I was looking for them, but on your bucket list, if you could do anything, like anything in terms of music, DJing, producing, singing, whatever it is, anything that comes to mind, what would that look like to you for your bucket list?
I think, and thank you, Bronx Harlem Girl, for hanging out with us tonight. And Pinky with Attitude because it's 3 o'clock in the morning in
Oh,
the
3
Netherlands.
AM. Yeah. Oh,
Um,
they're in their Netherlands. I didn't
yeah,
know that. I thought
she's
she
in
was
the
in the
Netherlands.
States.
No,
Pinky
she's
Promise.
in the Netherlands.
Oh,
She and
wow.
Sonia Faciel are both in the Netherlands.
Okay.
Um,
Nice.
I think uh, right now my bucket list, I would really love to work with Bonobo um, to produce a record. Like,
Mhm.
I love the way that he works. I love his sound. He was so instrumental in kind of building up like the Ibiza scene, the down tempo scene. He uses so many live instruments and program beats and all of these things. He's always been such a big inspiration to me. I think I would really love to work on him producing an album. I think that'd be
Nice.
fascinating.
You
Yeah.
should have you ever tagged him on anything? Like, worked on anything and tagged him? Like a
Um,
snippet of stuff?
I've played a couple shows with him and
Nice.
I have his phone number. Like we text every once in a while, especially
Mhm.
when he like comes through town, but I haven't shot my shot yet. I'm kind
Mhm.
of like sometimes you're like you don't want to rush it because you only have like one
True.
ask and you're like you don't want to You don't wanna do it before you're ready, because then what if they say yes and you're like, "Oh, crap, I thought they were gonna say no, and I'm not ready," and then you're like, "Damn," So I've kind of been like, "Let me get Ableton in order, let me w work on some things, and then," you know, that would be my ask.
Yeah,
And then I'd
definitely
be
do
like,
it.
"How much are you gonna charge me?" And let me take out a small personal loan.
Yeah, you know what? You do it, do it. Like
Yes.
I see that happening for you. Like,
Thank you.
definitely do it, speak it, write your vision down because, it definitely will happen. A lot of things that you've worked on have already happened for you. So, and if you already know him, then, but I hear what you're saying. It is timing. There's certain
Yeah.
artists I would love to shoot my shot with for interviews, and I'm a little like gun shy, like, oh, maybe I'll wait until I get a few things in order, but then your time's now. Like, you may think that they're booked a million places, but even the pandemic taught us that,
Yeah.
you could probably get people on because they're probably not asked by a lot of talk shows, right? So you never
Yeah.
know.
And you never know. And also, I think I always want to be respectful of people's time and their consideration. And so I don't want to just be like all willy-nilly about it. You know what I mean? Because people ask people to do stuff all the time and then they
True.
like don't have a plan or they don't have a show or they like don't know what they're doing. And so I think for me, when I make a big ask of somebody like that, I always want to be like, here's my plan and
Mhm.
here's the, you know what I mean? So that I so that I'm respecting so I'm being respectful of their craft. I'm not like, I know, right? Willy-nilly.
I like it. It's
Gemini,
cute. Willy-nilly,
DJ
that's cute. I gotta
Gemini.
add that to my list. We don't say that. It's like
Please say willy-nilly. Everybody bring back willy-nilly.
that's
DJ
so
Gemini
cute.
is my wilderness twin. He knows all about the bears and the all the freaking animals. Have you seen him stream outside in
He's
Oregon?
amazing. Oh, he's in
Yeah,
Oregon. I didn't know that,
in the woods in the
Yeah, it
winter.
looks beautiful out. I was asking him if squirrels were, like, ever jump on his equipment or anything like that. It
They
looks
probably
so
eat the
beautiful
wires.
where he lives. It looks so beautiful out there.
It
Yeah,
does look
I
beautiful.
think I asked him about the bears too. So then the last question I have for you is, what would be on your life bucket list? I always ask that question to people, if you just had a short span, which really we all do, with life, right?
Yeah, we do.
Besides music, kind of what would you want to do in that short span? What would be on your life bucket list?
I think I would wanna travel and play music in as many countries as I could, and
Nice.
not, like, just to check them off the list, but actually to be able to, like, experience and share music with as many different spaces as possible, you
Yeah.
know?
That's awesome. I love that. Well, remember this interview because it's definitely going to happen. Like, remember this date and just keep working at it, and it'll definitely happen. You should talk to Portia Live and some of these girls that just started DJing and now they're basically traveling they're traveling the world, right?
Yeah.
Even Shelly Rockstar. I can't remember, she was on the panel
She
with you.
was on. She's
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah, she had to go to Puerto Rico, catch a flight to Puerto Rico. That's why she left,
That's
for a
amazing.
wedding, and I remember her DMing me, "Hey, how do you get gigs or how do you do this?" And it was crazy. She's asking me. Now I'm going back to her and asking, "How in the world do you get all these international gigs happening?"
Yeah,
So we
that's
could
epic.
all yeah, we could all definitely help each other, but they recently kinda started out and they're such an inspiration. So many other women that are traveling and doing big I see you even doing, like, Lollapalooza. Like, have you ever thought of something like that? Like a
Oh, I
pop
don't know about Lollapalooza, but I'd love to play Bonnaroo.
Yeah. So, I mean, definitely check well, with the festivals and,
Mhm.
apply and you never know. You never know what will happen?
Yeah,
So
I think and that's another thing that I think the pandemic has taught us is that we're a lot more international than we thought. Like,
Mhm.
I mean, now I there are so many people that I've met on Twitch that I text with, call on the phone, chat with, have personal relationships with that are all over the place that I
Mhm.
never would have met otherwise. And really like it's all about the relationships. Like the music industry is all about relationships. Life is all about relationships and being able to connect to people in a way that like only you can because only you are Honeyflow and only, and that people are going to want what you have. I think that yeah, that the showing up and reminding people of like that you're dope
Mhm.
and And even when you don't think you're dope, just keep doing it. I mean, there's so much evidence of people that have done that already, you know? Look at everybody that's doing it now,
It's
you know,
so
that wasn't even DJing before the pandemic or something.
crazy,
It's
so
crazy.
crazy. It
Yeah.
is crazy, and it's all and it also shows that, like, we're all, like, super really just human, you know? It doesn't matter if I interview someone that has millions of people, like, on and blew up, and or someone that has 5 people. It's like I see the same common pattern between everyone I'm interviewing and
Mhm.
just how human we all are, like, just
Yeah.
with insecurities or, "Oh, I don't know about this or that," or like just different things, right? But like
Yeah.
you said, a lot everyone just showed up and they just kept pushing
Yeah.
and and your success doesn't mean if you don't win an award or if you're not on an award list doesn't mean or if you have a lower following or vice versa, like all that's kind of irrelevant, like
Yeah.
the fact that you're still showing up and you're still doing this takes a lot of courage, right? And
Absolutely.
and people at the top still have a lot of insecurities or still like when I interviewed Vader Mix, he told me it took him 7 times to get partner. That's
Yeah.
so shocking. Like that stood out to me. It made me realize that okay, he kept pushing and pushing. It wasn't just like overnight just like that. Like
Yeah.
how we see on social media. Sometimes social media could be an illusion cuz we're thinking like, "Oh man, like okay, it just became so quick or easy for people." But you don't see this whole up and down all the valleys and the hills that people had to walk through, right? It's
Yeah.
never kind of a straight line, but it shows that we're all kind of human and we all um you know like have the same emotions and the same thing for things too, for
Yeah.
sure. Yeah. So I just want to say, I know we got to wrap up too. It's 9:30, but I just want to say, is there anything that you also want to promote? Like your, maybe if you could mention the next shows, like the times you're on, what they are, and if there's anything else you would like to promote too, or let people know about you, that would be
Yes.
good.
Yeah, I DJ Gemini, I cannot with you. He's in an accidental relationship with the Sasquatch. I knew there was some weird stuff happening in those woods, dude. I knew it.
Now, well, he's a little too close to the woods for my
He is
like.
very close to the woods. I'm semi close to the woods. He's up in the woods.
Can you do like
I
a
love him. That's why I love him so
Can you
much.
do a DJ show at nighttime, like, on your balcony in the woods, Gemini? We wanna see that because I
I
wanna
wanna
see
see all the,
what's gonna
like,
pop out at
infrared deer that are hanging out outside waiting to, like, eat your equipment.
you. Oh, yeah, he missed that. Gemini missed the mice and
He
every oh,
did.
yes, he has. I don't think I've seen you at nighttime do it.
He has, damn it. But also they're like 3 hours behind us, so you know I'm way in bed by the time it's nighttime out there.
Yeah, so true.
Tomorrow night, damn it, Gemini, I gotta go to bed early tomorrow night. So my next show is House Music Monday. I'm on at 2 PM Eastern Standard Time on Mondays and Tuesdays. Tuesdays, I play all blends, edits, remixes, versions. We get blendy on Tuesdays. We do house music on Mondays. Um, I'm working on an online course that will be coming out at the end of June, early July, so keep an eye out for that. And I'm trying really hard to win Best DJ of Western North Carolina, and so I'm asking everybody to vote for that as well. Voting ends at the end of April.
Do you have
So
the link that you could post in the chat? I don't know if you could post it,
I should have a link
or
if
do you
I
know what it is?
were,
Or no?
like, good at things. I
Or if
could
you know what it is, I could type it. I don't know.
um, I will find it real
Okay. 'Cause I
fast.
think it would be good because we got 30 people in the chat. If they could click the link to help Mollyparti, that would help. How you doing, Tweak Music Tips? Good to see
Is
you.
that Twig Music Tips? I'm also working on some projects with Twig Music Tips that has been a lot of fun.
Nice.
I'm enrolled in Twig Music Academy, which I'm learning Ableton, and it's been amazing. I've already made a couple mixes. I was already able to actually produce a mix for a corporate event and got paid for it, and that was super dope.
Nice.
So big ups to Tweet Music
I hope to
Tips.
see you. Maybe we'll see you in some competitions in the future.
Man, I hope so. I'm gonna
I would
whisper
love
it
to
to
do that.
you. How's that? I do have a link.
Okay, awesome. Oh, thank you so much. Tweak Music Tips, 500 bits. Thank you
Miss
so much.
JUK, thank you so much.
Yeah, thanks for hanging out with us,
And
Miss J.
Honeyflow, thank you so much for having me. Like, this has been such a fun conversation, and I always love talking with you. And I can't wait to chop it up about all things private party and wedding and all of the things, because I've learned so much over the last few years, and I've had so much help from so many people. I'm always happy to help somebody else that's looking to refine or scale or just, you know, I've learned a lot of tweaks. And so thank you so much for posting that link.
How
Yeah,
do I pin this link? Is there a way I can pin this on StreamYards? That's something I gotta learn.
I
I
don't
can't.
know. Oh, there. Oh, no, but I think you have to pin it on Twitch. I don't know how to do that stuff.
Oh, I gotta figure out. This girl,
DJ E
Christina,
Boogie,
knows.
thank you so much for coming through. Kova, thank you so much. Great interview today.
She's a power mod. Yeah, so make sure this girl Xtina, I don't know if you could pin that link. Thank you for posting it. So you guys, if everyone, oh, it won't pin. So if you guys could click that link or copy and paste that link for our DJ Mollyparti, this is to win. What is it? The best DJ of North Carolina? Is that it?
It's for Western North Carolina, so it's like our whole region,
Oh, okay.
like
So
the whole part of our state.
oh, awesome. So yeah, if we got so many people lurking, if you guys could take that link and do that, I'll do that after the show as well and
Thank
do that for
you.
you. And the more votes she gets, then she's one step closer to get that. Make sure you guys are adding Tweak Music Tips and all the dope streamers and DJs in the room. Blockbuster. There's so many. DJ Boogie, DJ Gemini. This girl Xtina does a playlist show. So many people, guys,
So many dope humans in here.
yeah, so many. So thanks for coming through. I want to thank you so much because for this interview. It was so much fun and the conversation. You inspired me today on a few things, so I'm definitely gonna talk to you after about some of that stuff too. But yeah, thank
Yeah.
you for coming on, and we appreciate you. And I know next year is gonna open. There's gonna be so many more doors opening up for you too. I can see that.
Thank
So
you. I
yeah.
appreciate you having me. I appreciate everybody that's been here. Pinky, I know it's late. Yeah, I really appreciate this conversation, and I appreciate all that you do on Twitch. You're such a rock star.
Oh, thank you so much. I don't know about a rock star, but but yeah, I appreciate that.
You are.
I'm still having that ball in my head, that ball, thing. But anyways, okay, so you know what we're gonna do, guys? We're gonna do something. Okay, maybe I'm gonna post the bloopers
Please,
and
please
probably
post it.
post that. Yeah, thanks to Mollyparti's
Yeah.
comments, she got me stuttering. She got me stuttering in that show. You know, she made it worse, but it was fun. It was fun. So we're gonna do something special, you guys. And make sure everyone in the room adds DJ Mollyparti. For the one person that doesn't know her on Twitch, make sure you're adding her as well. So we're gonna do something special tonight, guys. IQ remix, which I was really surprised and a little saddened. He told me, or he told all of us, that today's going to be his last show. So I'm not exactly sure why he's quitting or stopping. He does a really nice Quiet Storm show. I don't always catch it because Wednesday nights I have my show and then I just wind down. But we're going to raid into him. He's out of Toronto, Canada. I interviewed him quite some time ago. And we just want to encourage him to keep going. Like, I don't know why he's stopping. But, tonight he said this was his last show. So let's make it extra special for him. And let's try to encourage him to ensure that he comes back. Yeah, so if we can do that for him, I think that would be really, really dope. So throw up the raid message, you guys. We're gonna raid in. Okay, so here's my raid whoops. I put the raid message in his chat. See this? This is why I'm not good as a mod. This is why I'm horrible. I'd be horrible as a mod. Shout out to all the mods. I just put exclamation mark RO in his chat. I meant to post it in my chat. I was checking to see if he was still on.
That's amazing.
This is horrible. So grab the raid message, and if you guys can put bees, so when we're raiding in, if you could put a stack of bees, there's like a little bee emote, like normally on your phone, not through the Twitch emotes, but if you could copy the raid out message and put some bees and raid, like swarm it with bees, I think that'd be cute. That'd be funny. But any encouraging words?
This girl, Christina.
Huh?
She's like, I'm sorry, I was voting.
Oh my gosh. I can't believe I put exclamation mark RO. That's it. How do you do that? This girl, Xtina, I can't figure out how to put this on my stream elements. I need your help.
Oh, look. Oh, it's so cute.
Yeah, I thought it was cute. So we'll raid in with bees, guys. Thank you, this girl, Xtina. So everyone grab that message and we'll raid in and just put raid. But if people can encourage him to not make it his last show today, like if people could put something encouraging for him, I think that would be extra special because I don't know why he said today's his last show, but I get it that sometimes you just need to move on or what have you, whatever the circumstances may be. But let's try to encourage him tonight. So let's start the raid. Thank you again, DJ Mollyparti, for coming through. You rock. You're awesome. And I can't wait to see what the future is going to hold for you. I know it's going to be a lot of big things for you.
Same. Thank you so much for having me.
And thank you guys for coming through. We got Blockbuster Music. He's got a few high school raids coming up. Make sure you add him. We got This Girl Xtina does a playlist show. Mr. Nate, aka
Mr. Nate.
Joe. Yeah, we got DJ Gemini. Who else?
You get all these rock star people in here.
Truth is a gamer and has the sweetest voice on Twitch. We got Miss JUK. And in the building,
this girl Christina,
yes, DJ E Boogie, Scribble, PA Sports Fan. Let's see. Oh, so many people. Thank you guys for coming through. We appreciate you, Pinky with Attitude, staying up till 3 a.m. over 3 a.m. to watch the show. That's some dedication right there.
Is dedication. I love it.
Tweak Music Tips.
Clarky.
Melody, another power mod of mine, Clarky, and let's see, this girl Xtina and everyone else. Thank you guys for coming through. I appreciate you. Salute.
Thank you.
Yeah, and Tweak Music Tips. Thanks for coming through as well. So let's encourage IQ Music and hang around for even like 5 minutes. Because they're probably wondering, why did I put RO in that chat? And I left right away. See, this is sometimes I'll do personal messages thinking it's a personal message and it's actually posted in someone's chat. Like I've done that before too. Oh so if anyone is horrible at technology, that would be me. I'm going to try to raid out again because sometimes it misses people. So
gosh, it misses people like crazy.
Yeah, I don't know why. So if it missed you guys, make sure you go to IQ Remix. That's who we're going to. I'm trying to raid into. Oh yeah, this girl Xtina says she's terrible. Okay, is that raid? Is it re-rating? This is why I can't be a mod. I don't know why people ask if I want to be a mod. And okay, there we go. Okay, so it says, see, it missed like 4 people. And we got to get more people on the bus for him, even if it's one more. So I'll do it one more time and we're good. You're probably thinking, man, this is my bedtime. When can I leave?
Oh man, this is how like I was trying to raid out the other day. And I looked in my mod view and I was like, I still have 20 people in my room. How do I still like, how did Twitch leave 20 people and I couldn't get them out? I was like, and I was like, I don't know.
Leaving people. Oh, we got DJ3X Flame. Thanks for the raid. We're raiding out. Stick with us.
DJ Free Time Flame.
Remix we're going to. He's super dope too. He does a really amazing Quiet Storm hour. Let's see here. Okay. So raid out one more time. Okay, there we go. I think 3 is good enough. Okay, well, thank you so much. Have a great night.
So much.
Yeah, we'll definitely be in touch for
Hit
sure.
Me up. Let's chop it up. I'm serious. I would love to just talk it out with you and see what's going on.
Yeah, for sure. Sounds good.
Yeah.
Okay, take
Thank you
care.
so
Have
much.
a
Have a
great
great
night.
night, Honeyflow.
You too. Okay, bye.
Bye.
See ya.